Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
Fresh off the emotion of the Pete Rose weekend, thousands of fans are here once again at Great American Ballpark, not just to see baseball, but to support the Reds Community Fund. Already, we haven't started the ball game yet, but we've gained already $14,000 as we try to raise funds for youth baseball in and around the Cincinnati area. Hi, hello, and welcome to Great American Ballpark, everybody. I'm George Grant. Jim Day will join me very shortly. This is a night for baseball, yes, but it's also a night for the Reds Community Fund. We've got folks that you'll be hearing from all night long, including Bob Castellini, the CEO of the Reds, people who have been part of this community for so many years, who have been part of the rebirth of baseball, part of the rebirth of this baseball community. That's coming up as the night progresses, but we've got a baseball game to talk about, too. Let's go up to the booth with Jim Kelch and Chris Welsh.
All right, thank you, George. And here on the baseball side of things, we've got a good one tonight. The first game of this series will feature the fellow Chris, who had a no-hitter his last time here for the Cubs. That means Jake Arrieta.
Well, you know, I'm not so sure that Brian Price was saying it truthfully or tongue-in-cheek, that the Reds were chomping at the bit to get back in a chance against the Jake Arrieta. Boy, did he whitewash the Reds last time out. They gave him 16 runs in support. He pitched his second no-hitter against the Reds. And the interesting thing really was that early in the ballgame, everybody who watched Arrieta said this might not be Arrieta's night. He didn't command the fastball very well. He was all over the place really with his pitches. But out by out, the drama began to build, and finally he nailed down that no-hitter. 4 walks in that ballgame, 6 strikeouts overall. But a very dominating performance from a guy who has been dominating pretty much everybody he's faced this year.
So it was the second no-hitter of his career for Jake Arrieta. Both of them been on the road. Now, his mound opponent tonight, a fellow from San Diego who has pitched pretty well most of the year, but his last 2 times out, not so well.
He was actually in a trade that brought him to Chicago at one point. Early on, Dan Straley 1-0 with 3 earned runs in the first 14 innings. Last couple of times out, he's pitching somewhat tentatively. He's trying to etch the ball on the corners. He's nibbling maybe a little bit too much. I think Straley would be best off going after the Cubs tonight. They're not exactly swinging the bats great right now, so the Reds just might be catching them at the right time.
All right, that's what we have in form of a pitching matchup tonight here in Game 1 of this 3-game series. We'll take a break. When we come back to the Reds Community Fund Telethon and Jim Day at the call center.
pleasure to welcome in the Chief Operating Officer of your Cincinnati Reds. That's Phil Castellini. The Reds Community Fund. How much does it mean to the Reds?
Oh, it's everything. It's our connection to the community and getting these kids to play the game of baseball. And we're likely not to get them to be fans of the game if they haven't been introduced to the game in some way. And I don't know about you, Jim. I was introduced to it on a not-hole ball field.
Yeah. We're the second year into the Urban Youth Academy. How do you think it's gone so far?
I think it's been fantastic. It's one of these stand back, we don't know how big this thing gets. You know,
yeah.
It's about a time and a half our budget, what we thought it would be, which means there's that many more kids going through our programs, which is fantastic. We've got great partners, P&G, PNC, and others. It's just been a fantastic program that continues to grow.
And when you see the success stories, that has to mean everything in the world.
There's no question. I mean, we're having a lot of kids go through the program, but you heard some stories.
Yeah.
You told some stories last year about the kids we're really making an impact on, and that's really what it's all about.
Well, I tell you what, he was just up from the pregame ceremony, so you're dressed appropriately. I'm a little jealous. I'm a little jealous of your attire, but the number is 513-765-7700, and we've got a couple of levels of MVP packages and premier packages, which we're going to talk about all evening long. A Ken Griffey Jr. replica jersey, Marty Brennaman talking bobblehead, which you won't believe. I'll show you that coming up. A replica banner from 1976 and much more. If you'd like to go to the $200 level, you're also going to get an autographed baseball from one of the Reds superstars. So all evening long, we're manning the call center. And
Jim, I can't thank you enough. You're the guy that got this thing rolling and hit new levels last year. We hope to exceed those this year. I can't thank you enough for all you do for us in this telethon.
Well, I appreciate everything the Reds do in the community. And we're not done. We're just getting started. Reds and Cubs. Lineups and first pitch are next on Fox Sports Ohio.
Chevy, check out their award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealers. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. Dan Straley leading the Reds onto the field for this, the 77th game of this 2016 season, and the first game of this three-game series. The Reds and the Chicago Cubs. Let's take a look at the Cubs lineup brought forth by their manager, Joe Madden, here this evening. Now Ben Zobrist leading off. He will be at second base. Jason Hayward in center. Chris Bryant at third. Middle of the lineup includes Anthony Rizzo at first. Wilson Contreras in left. Miguel Montero does the catching in the bottom three. Addison Russell, the shortstop. Chris Coughlin in right. And the right-hander Jake Arrieta will bat ninth. And on the mound for the Cubs, on the mound for the Reds, is the right-hander Dan Straley.
Dan Straley, 27 years old, so he's still young by baseball standards. He's a young man that actually came through the Cubs organization at one time. Coming off an outing in which he was very unlucky. He put 6 runners on base in 6 innings, and 4 of them ended up scoring in the game against the Texas Rangers.
He gets Zobrist to swing at a 1-0 pitch, and he'll roll it to Votto at first, and that's the way this game gets started. Take a look at the Reds defensive alignment, brought to you by your Ford dealers. They'll line up like this tonight. Duvall, Hamilton, and Bruce across the outfield. The infield includes Suarez and Cozart on the left side, Peraza and Votto on the right side. Barnhart does the catching for Dan Straley. Makes his 3rd appearance, 2nd start against Chicago this year. Made a start here back on the 23rd of April in a no decision and a Reds 13-5 win against the Cubbies. In fact, that's the only game this year that the Reds have won in 7 tries against Chicago. This is Jason Hayward with 1 man out.
The one missing piece in the Cubs lineup right now is Dexter Fowler, the leadoff hitter that really jump-started their offense. So without him, they have not been the offensive team that they were early in the year when they were simply blowing teams right out of the ballgame. I mean, they still have a huge lead on the rest of the division. But here's some of the guys that are on the disabled list right now. Fowler, as we mentioned, Tommy La Stella on the DL. Kyle Schwarber, of course, gone for the year with a knee injury. Jorge Soler, hamstring problem. So they're a beat up team right now. I can't say that they're exactly limping in because they are bringing in Jake Arrieta, one of the league leaders in earned run averages and a number of other categories. But still, this is not the juggernaut offense that the Reds saw when they stormed through Cincinnati last time in late April.
Broken bat, ball towards center, and that will elude the glove of Peraza. Get on out into center field, and a 1-out base hit for the center fielder Jason Hayward.
That looked like a pretty good pitch that he got in on him a little bit, right on the trademark. The barrel of that bat flies up against the screen of the Reds dugout, and the ball barely gets over the second baseman's head. So you make a good pitch, no guarantee you're going to have a good result.
So the first runner of this game is Jason Hayward. He's over at first base. The batter now is the 3rd baseman Chris Bryant. Straley starts him with a breaking ball and strike 1. Straley at 4-4 on the year with a 3.83, and the numbers that Bryant has produced this year against the Reds. Good average, including 7 home runs. That's a fair ball by the diving Suarez. Headed toward the corner. Duvall has it bounce away from him. Here comes Hayward to the plate. He will score easily. Runner trying to go to 3rd. He will get in there. The Cubs take an early 1-0 lead.
Now, a situation right here where Bryant gets the ball down the line past the 3rd baseman, and then it eludes Duvall. So it becomes a physical error and then a mental error on the part of Adam Duvall, trying to make something out of nothing with a throw of despair all the way into home plate. And because it was kind of a rainbow throw, Bryant was able to go all the way around from 2nd to 3rd as he's read that throw. And now the Cubs have a runner at 3rd base with just 1 out.
So a single by Hayward, followed by a 2-base hit by Bryant. And now the Reds will bring their infield in with Anthony Rizzo at the plate.
Yeah, that's the situation. And if you use the golf analogy, if you hit a bad drive, sometimes you just play for bogey. And that's probably what Duvall should have done right there. Get the ball back in the infield. Keep Bryant at 2nd base. Now a fly ball will get him in. The infield has to play in. And that can't be a very comfortable feeling for those players that are on the right side of the infield with Anthony Rizzo up. And there's the throw in. It's a heave all the way in.
That thing shot off that side wall and tipped right off the glove of Duvall out there in left field. No error charge. It's a double for Bryant and a run batted in. He goes to third on the throw in. An early 1-0 Cubs lead. Rizzo with 54 runs batted in. You saw that number, 33 of them on the road. Tops in the National League. He draws a 4-pitch walk, so not a good start for the Reds and Dan Straley here in inning number 1.
Well, having that runner at third base puts Straley in that situation where he really has to go for a strikeout. And against Anthony Rizzo, he just doesn't have the strikeout pitch. He's got a lot better chance against a right-hander, especially a youngster coming to the plate that the Cubs are sending up there now.
Batter will be Wilson Contreras. He's playing left field. He's naturally a catcher. Young man is only 24 years old, out of Venezuela. They signed him back in 2009 as a free agent. He was absolutely tearing up AAA Iowa pitching this year for the Iowa team. They lose Fowler to the DL, La Stella to the DL, Soler to the DL. They call up Contreras. They also call up another young man, Albert Almora. They just seem to always have young men down in their system.
Well, they've traded a lot of veteran players along the years to be able to do that. And of course, when you get them out of Venezuela, that has to do with your international signing bonus money. And of course, the scouts that you have down there. Contreras wasn't always a great minor league player and a prospect. In fact, when they signed him, they spent a lot of money on him, $850,000 to sign him out of Venezuela as a youngster. But a couple of years ago, he was so rough in the minor leagues, they took him off the 40-man roster, available to any other team out there. And it wasn't until really last year he began to turn himself into a fringe prospect to the #1 or #2 prospect in the entire Cubs organization. Joe Madden has him in the lineup now because of his energy. He's got a nice flat swing. He's got some power. A lot of that power goes to right field. But this is a strikeout or a double play situation here for Straley. Keep the ball down. Let's see if Contreras will roll over on one.
Contreras is listed on Baseball Reference as a catcher and a third baseman, but he's made starts as he is tonight in left field. He's made a start at first base. Called up just 10 days ago on the 17th of June. Made his big league debut on the 19th against the Pirates. And what did he do? He stepped in there against Pittsburgh, and on the very first pitch that he ever saw in his major league career, he hit a home run. You talk about not waiting for anything to happen, making things happen.
It's a fairy tale start.
Here, in fact, we get to take a look at it. This is last week on the 19th against the Pirates.
And it was the first pitch breaking ball. How about that?
That was on Father's Day at Wrigley Field. First pitch home run, first Cub to do that since 1992 when Jim Bollinger did it. There's a full count walk now to Contreras, so back-to-back walks in the inning. 4 straight have reached against Straley.
Straley right now not really finishing that breaking ball. I mean, that 3-2 pitch to Contreras was a slider that he just kind of hung up there. He just kind of slinging it up there right now. You got to get way out there and finish that pitch in order to get good break on it, and it hung up and out of the strike zone. But still, if you're Straley, you're thinking positive thoughts. And you're only 1 pitch from getting out of this inning with a double play ball. And you've got a good double play candidate up here in Miguel Montero.
He takes ball 1 low. Montero has hit into 4 double plays this year. Comes in hitting only 200 with 4 home runs, 16 batted in. He gets ahead 2-0. Cubs as a team hitting .316 with the bases loaded this year. Montero 1 out of 6.
This is where you take your favorite pitch, take a little bit off, throw it down in the zone, but throw it for a strike.
That's what he does, and Montero fouls it away.
That really, I didn't make that up. It's too good for me to make up. It was Ray Miller, the former pitching coach for Pittsburgh Pirates. He was a former manager with Baltimore Orioles. In fact, he was a great pitching coach with the Orioles as well. I think he had 5 20-game winners one year on his staff, and that was one of his sayings.
Now it's 3 balls and a strike. Hamilton has a beat on this ball. The runner from third, Bryant, will tag. He'll come home and score. Hamilton throws that ball toward the cutoff man. Everybody else stays put. Straley and the Reds get the second out of the inning. Cubs get the second run. They're up 2-0 here in the first.
Well, if that's all they get, you got to be happy about that if you're Dan Straley, given the fact that you've walked 2, given up 2 hits, including a double in the first inning. You limit the damage here. You give your team a chance to stay in this ball game.
That'll bring the 7-hitter up, the shortstop Addison Russell. 241 with 7 home runs, 40 runs batted in. There's an interesting tie-in between Straley and Addison Russell. They came over to the Cubs back in July of 14. The Jason Hamill, Jeff Samardzija deal going the other way. Suarez the short way to second. They get the force out there on Contreras, and a decent job of damage control by Straley. Arrieta to the mound, coming up from the bottom of the first. First inning, and now Jake Arrieta will take the mound for Chicago. We talked about the last time he was here. He threw that no-hitter, and here's the lineup that he will face. Cozart, Hamilton, Votto at the top for Cincinnati. Bruce, Duvall, and Suarez in the middle. Peraza playing second base tonight. Phillips getting the night off. Barnhart 8th. Straley 9th. Here he is, the 30-year-old right-hander, Jake Arrieta.
I don't know if there's a tougher pitcher in the league this side of Clayton Kershaw than Jake Arrieta. Cy Young last year at 22-6, a 1.7 earned run average. And he's 11-2 this year. I mean, every peripheral number that he has is just incredibly sharp, off the charts type stuff. 3 home runs given up in nearly 100 innings. So not only is he a strikeout artist, but he keeps the ball in the ballpark. Kind of an interesting delivery, really, for a guy who is so consistent. He throws very much across his body. but his core is so strong and he's so dedicated to keeping himself in terrific shape that he's able to combat that, the normal maladies that come along with throwing across your body. He specializes mostly in a fastball, throws it down around the knees. Very high average velocity, a little bit over 95 miles an hour.
On the 1-1 pitch, goes out in the air to center. Hayward will make the play, and that's how the Reds first gets going.
This one could give us a little bit of an idea. He's going to step kind of over towards this way, and and then throw back across his body. Now, most of the time, pitching coaches will take a young pitcher like that and say, "Hell, hold on here now. You can't pitch like that. You're going to hurt your arm. You're going to hurt your hips. Things are going to go wrong for you. It's going to be hard to repeat your delivery." But Arrieta has been able to settle in with that particular style and obviously very, very good at it. It's really not all that much across his body, but it is significantly more than what you normally see out of a big league pitcher.
He gets the leadoff man. Now to deal with Billy Hamilton. Billy at 255. He has a couple of home runs, driven in 11. Had the day off yesterday. Did pinch hit in the 8th inning and grounded out against the Padres. Now he gets ahead, 2 balls and 1 strike. Bryant way in at 3rd. See Rizzo playing back at first base. Any teams, we see both corners pinching. Here just Bryant, and he's at the edge of the grass now with a 2-strike count. Billy laid off there, now a full count. Votto waiting on deck. Chris mentioned 11 wins for Arrieta this year. That has him tied for the National League lead with Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers and the former Red Johnny Cueto now with San Francisco. He's tops in the league in ERA at 1.74. There's a lot of opponents that hit just 175 against him. You see that listed there. That's tops in the National League as well.
You combine all those tops in the National League and maybe even 3rd in the league. You slipped in the opponent on base percentage, and then you combine that with all the run support that the Cubs give him. And that's one reason why he's 11-2, and that's a terrific at bat right there by Billy Hamilton.
He draws the walk from Arrieta, so we'll see Arrieta go from the stretch, which really isn't much different than his windup here in the bottom of the 1st.
You know, the interesting thing, though, about that walk for Arrieta is that 4 times this year he has walked at least 4 batters in a ball game. He only did that once all of last year, so his command of the fastball this year not quite spot on, and maybe the Reds can break it.
Billy going on the first pitch. That's way inside, and he gets that one easily at second base. The head first slide gives Hamilton his 18th stolen base of the year.
Well, the opposition stole 27 against Arrieta last year. This is stolen base number 12 against only 2 throwouts. So the Reds see an opportunity right there. Billy Hamilton takes advantage of it.
Billy came into the day tied for 3rd in the league with Melvin Upton Jr. of San Diego with 17. He just left here, so now he trails just Jonathan Villar of Milwaukee, Starling Marte of the Pirates. So Votto here represents the tying run in the bottom of the first. Bending that right knee, Billy Hamilton. Didn't see him hit it on the base or have it hit the ground overly hard.
Yeah, Billy Hamilton saw so many film clips of Pete Rose over the weekend sliding head first. Every time you turned around, there was another film clip of Pete Rose in midair on his way to a bag. And I kind of wish he would go feet first instead of head first.
Russell cheating in behind Hamilton.
None of the Reds hitters have really done all that great against Jake Arrieta in career. Votto, a 182 hitter. A couple of hits. One of them was a double, 1 RBI.
Yeah, Cozart and Hamilton at 250 really marked the best of the team for the Reds that's in the lineup tonight. Votto takes his time up there, steps out. Two for 11 lifetime against Arrieta. Joey Votto takes a borderline strike. He thought it was ball 4. Mike Muchlinski calling the balls and strikes. Votto had thrown the lumber away and has to retrieve it.
Now we'll take a look on our Fox tracks, and it shows it right on the inside corner. That's a lot of comeback action on that fastball. Of course, the umpire sits right over the right shoulder of the catcher, gets a really good look at the inside pitch.
Hamilton going to third. That's ball 4. The throw to third is late. 2 steals in the inning for Hamilton. 19 now on the year. Votto would join him on the bases, and a little first inning rally for the Redlegs.
So back-to-back walks here for Arrieta. You saw Hamilton just kind of bouncing around off the second base. You figured it was a matter of time. So we've not even completed 1 inning of baseball here at Great American Ballpark, and we've already seen 4 bases on balls.
Now it's Bruce. Jay had 3 hits, including a home run in the San Diego series. That home run came yesterday. It was a solo shot in the 4th inning and made it 2-0 Reds at the time. And here he is with 58 runs batted in. That is second best behind Nolan Arenado of Colorado in the NL. Votto on the move as Bruce fouls it back, and it's 2 strikes and nothing.
One area where the Cubs pitching staff overall has done a tremendous job is in the first inning. Batting average against is down around 180. So they've gotten their team off to a good start. Opportunity though here for the Reds. Base hit for Jay Bruce would mean a run, and would give a lot of emotional support here by the Reds if you can get a run on the board against Arrieta early. Teaser pitch right there, slow breaking ball, trying to get Jay Bruce to kind of slow his clock down a little bit. likely to go fastball down and away. That's his bread and butter, that hard two-seamer.
Votto again on the run. Now he'll slow down, no throw through. So Joey on down to second base as Bruce strikes out for the second out of the inning. Just a reminder, our Reds Community Fund Telethon continues throughout the game tonight. If you're interested in calling, 513-765-7700. Purchase MVP and premium packages. They're available. 513-765-7700. We'll be checking in with Jim and George throughout the evening.
This is a good matchup here because Adam Duvall is a very good low ball hitter, and that's where the strength of Jake Arrieta's fastball is.
Hammers this ball out to left field. That's over the head of Contreras and off the wall. Here comes Hamilton. He scores. Here comes Votto. He will score. And the Reds match the Cubs' first inning pair. We are tied 2-2.
Well, it wasn't a fastball, but it was a pitch down low, and watch Adam Duvall go right down there to get it on the sweet spot and knock it right over the head of the left fielder Wilson Contreras. That ball hit on a line. What a clutch hit right there with 2 outs and 2 on. You let Arrieta get out of that situation, and you may not get anything more against him. Now you've broken the armor up a little bit.
Duvall breaks an 0 for 11 with that double, giving him now 53 runs batted in on the year, coming up with a 17th two-base hit. How about this? Jake Arrieta had not allowed a hit the first time through the batting order in his last 4 starts against the Reds. He allows that double here to Duvall that ties this game 2-2. Suarez now with an opportunity to put the Reds in front.
For the Reds off of Jake Arrieta at this ballpark, that is about 12 innings between hits. In fact, he had walked 9 batters between the time he had given up his last hit here.
You're going back beyond the no-hitter. Long ones, 38 runs batted in for Suarez. Hard hit, but right back to Arrieta. Suarez is out and the inning is over. Each team get a pair here in the first.
865-7700. For a $100 donation, you'll get the MVP gift package, a Ken Griffey Jr. replica jersey, 1976 championship replica flag, a water bottle, a couple Reds tickets to a future game, and a talking Marty Brennaman bobblehead. If you want to go to the $200 level, you get all those items plus an autographed baseball signed by Zach Cozart, Joey Votto, Jay Bruce, Billy Hamilton, Devin Mesoraco, or Homer Bailey. You will write down 3 of your top choices and get one of those 6 players to sign that baseball. We're going to be here all evening long. We've got men and women working the phones behind us. And Jim and Chris, the Marty Brennaman talking bobblehead is off the charts. I will give you an example of it coming up.
That'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have on that, Jim. I hear him talk a lot. Most of it's pretty funny. I imagine that's pretty good as well. 2-2 game here in the top of the second. Chris Coughlin leads things off. Young man had a very good year last year with the Cubs. They traded him away over the winter to Oakland and recently reacquired Chris Coughlin back on the 9th of June for Arismendi Alcantara, who went the other way. Now Straley goes full. His last time out was the finale of that series down in Texas. He went 6, allowed 4 runs, 3 hits. A little bit misleading because he had 5 very good innings and only 1 inning when they gave up 4 did things go poorly for him down there.
Well, he finally goes 3-2 right here, and he throws that fastball perfect spot on the outer part of the plate and snuck it right by Coughlin. Well, you're right. I mean, he was nearly untouchable except for the 4th inning. That was an inning in which he ended up loading the bases. Had 2 walks in that inning. Then gave up a couple of hits and 4 runs scored.
Yeah, he faced 8 men in that inning, and in the other 5 innings he worked, he faced the minimum number of batters. Got out of sync just a little bit, but it turned out to be enough. Texas ended up winning that game 6-4.
Arrieta's got a very respectable .258 batting average. He's a very good athlete. In fact, he's one of those guys, along with Madison Bumgarner, that has been politicking for a pitcher's version of the home run hitting contest in the All-Star game. They won't be throwing him curves.
Reds fans, the 2016 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is here. Head to Reds.com to choose your All-Star Game worthy stars and send them to the Major League All-Star Game presented by MasterCard. That's coming up on July the 12th in San Diego. Vote today, vote tomorrow. Vote at Reds.com/vote. And All-Star Game voting goes on until the 30th of the month. That's coming up on Thursday. Ends at 11:59 Eastern Time. So you have 4 more days. Speaking of All-Star balloting, I mean, when you look at this Cubs team, it's very possible that they're going to have a lot of starters in that game. And we'll talk about that as we go along tonight. recap of what they've been up to. That's their record, 48-26, the best in Major League Baseball, although the 48 wins now trail Texas and San Francisco by 1. They've actually lost 6 of their last 7 games, their worst stretch in over a year and a half, but 6-1 against the Reds this year, having outscored them 60-20 this year. Jose Peraza getting a start at second base here this evening. He started in center field, giving Billy Hamilton a break yesterday. It was awfully close there to a leadoff extra base hit here in the bottom of the second. Brian Price has alluded to the fact that Peraza will stay up with his club as long as he can get him around 4 appearances per week, preferably starts. But if it dips below that, he said we need him to play on an everyday basis, and so he would then probably go back down to AAA Louisville. Comes in at 256. He has hit in 7 consecutive games in which he has started. He becomes the second strikeout victim of the game for Arrieta right here. Here's Tucker Barnhart. Arrieta has simply been a master away from Wrigley Field. His last 19 road starts, he is 16-0 with an ERA just over 1 at 1.19. The Cubs in those games 18-1. I mean, this is the kind of guy that keeps you out of losing streaks. This is what a stopper is right here.
Oh, you're right about that. And of course, I imagine that every time he takes the mound, the folks in Baltimore just cringe. That's where they ended up getting Jake Arrieta in the first place, and really they didn't. And they also got their very fine setup man Pedro Strop in the same deal for Scott Feldman and Steve Clevenger. A couple of pitchers that have reached nowhere near the pinnacles that Arrieta and Strop have reached. So you talk about a one-sided deal that has really benefited the Cubs. Must be painful out there in Baltimore every time you see Arrieta on the mound.
Wasn't the story that he was not allowed to throw the cut fastball or the 2-seamer there, that he's been throwing over here, and that's kind of changed things around?
I think that's part of the story. He certainly doesn't say that that's the whole reason why. There are a number of things that Arrieta did that the Orioles didn't really like all that much. But let's face it, though, he wasn't Jake Arrieta 2015 version when he was pitching in the Baltimore Orioles organization either. Up and down from the minor leagues to the major leagues.
Straley goes down on strikes. And the Reds go in order in the bottom of the second. When we come back, George visits with the president, CEO of the Reds, Bob Castellini.
Now 163 packages sold. Our number $23,905. We're off to a great start on this after 4 great years of community fund activity. This stands to be one of the best, and we're here with Red CEO Bob Castellini. Bob, it's amazing when you look around this room, see all the volunteers behind us, and what this community fund has meant to you and the Reds.
It's just over the top. What Fox has done, and the Reds organization and the Reds Community Fund have done collectively is just amazing.
Before we talk about tonight, let's reflect a little bit. The smile on your face, I think, tells the story of what you felt about and what Reds fans felt about this weekend. What a spectacular weekend.
Yes, it truly was. We got to honor one of our own, and it was a very, very special 3 days. It was over the top as well. It was maybe one of the finest celebrations we've ever had as a franchise. When we inducted Pete into the Hall of Fame on the field, I think it was on Saturday. It was great.
You, of course, had a chance to talk to the Hall of Fame members, to the returning 76 team, but you also talked to the fans. What impressed you most about what fans had to say to you this weekend?
Well, they were all extremely thankful that Pete got into the hall, our hall. And I mean, these people all supported everything that we did, and they were thanking us. And gosh, we were thanking them for. But Pete is such a draw, and he's our hometown hero. And you know what anybody says about you, when I played with that guy, he made me a better player. That's testimony to somebody who is really, really good at what they do.
And Pete said it as well a number of times over the weekend, how much it meant to him in terms of where we were heading. And as you look at what's going on, a home run for the Cubs. Chris Bryant, the home run gives the Cubs a 3-2 lead here in the top of the 3rd inning. But Pete said it, you know, we look around this room and saw all these Hall of Famers and saw all these people that were part of 76. We feel that we had something special here that nobody else has because of Cincinnati.
It's very, very true. You know, baseball is extremely an integral part of our city. And the oldest baseball team in the sport, 1869. We take a lot of pride in that. So we're talking about 7, 8, 9 generations of baseball fans. That's a lot.
And each of those guys over the weekend said the same thing. You made it comfortable for them to come back here. I know that's been one of the linchpins of your organization.
Well, it's nice of you to say, George, but you know, all of us in the Reds organization wanted them all to come back, and they make it special. They let everybody know that they still are with us, and you know, it's like 25 fellas coming back, and they're all BMOCs, big men on campus. You know, it's a great get together.
You know, we look at the future of the Reds on the field too, and I know you're optimistic of some of the young players that are up now and coming up later this year.
Yeah, well, that's what we had to concentrate on, and we're in the process, and we're happy with the progress, and we'll be fine. We'll be fine, and I really appreciate the way the fans are standing behind us.
How about this community fund? You know, there are different organizations that have community fund organizations, but none of them put back all of this money into baseball, into their local community, into what you do.
All of them have Charlie Frank. All right, Charlie Frank is all world. And the fact that we just support baseball and baseball youth is very meaningful to us, because first of all, if we can get 15, 20, 30% of our kids just to get a little strain of confidence by doing what they're doing with us, we will have succeeded in really helping them along through life. But on top of that, we're creating great baseball fans, and we would hope that maybe we're going to find a few good players, and we have already. We've got 1 or 2 fellows that are pretty doggone good, and I hear we have a real good softball player too.
I know that Darryl Miller from Compton, California, with RBI, said he was so impressed with what we did with our RBI program here, and what Charlie has put together here.
Yeah, and you know, George, I can't sign off without thanking Fox enough. Fox has done a great job to help us raise the money that we're raising, and for instance, what you're doing here tonight is terrific, and all the support that we have. I can't thank all of our fans and people that believe in what we're doing.
$150,000 raised last year. Already we're at $23,000. I know that your hopeful fans will chip in again tonight.
29,000. You're at 29,000, I think.
That sounds good. Keep it going.
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much for everything you do.
Thank you for everything you do for the community, Bob.
Back at you.
Let's go back to the booth. Top of the third. Reds and Cubs.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Bob. And boy, it's some great things going on here in the Reds community this year, that's for certain. And in the past, thanks to the Reds Community Fund. Meanwhile, down on the field, things not going so well for the Reds in this half inning. After a line out by Hayward, the home run by Bryant, the double by Rizzo, the single here by Wilson Contreras. So the last three have reached, and all four have hit the ball hard.
You're right. I think that's more the thing that is concerning Brian Price right now, is that once they've seen Dan Straley through the lineup one time, second time through, everybody has struck the ball hard, even going back to the third out of last inning when Ben Zobrist hit a line drive to Billy Hamilton to make the third out in the second inning. So that's 5 ropes in a row.
That'll bring Miguel Montero to the plate with Contreras at first, Rizzo at third, 1 out, 1 in, and a 3-2 Cubs lead here in the top of the third inning. Yeah, we heard George and Mr. Castellini talking about the celebration this weekend, and you know, one of the great things I heard Pete say any number of times was to implore the fans to continue to come out and support this team, that they are in that rebuilding mode, but they're going to turn the corner quicker than they would think. They've gotten these young pitchers up here. They're getting some of these young players up here. He was imploring fans to come on out and support this ball club. There's a nicely turned inning-ending double play. Cozart to Peraza to Joey Votto. Linda Staubach from Cincinnati, Ohio, will win the beautiful new Tundra that's on display here at Great American Ballpark. You can register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Good luck tonight to Linda Staubach, Cincinnati, Ohio. Arrieta, a lead with which to work as he goes to the mound here in the bottom of the third. He'll get the top of the order. That means Cozart, Hamilton, Votto. Bryant home run, his 19th of the season, has put the Cubs back in front. Arrieta just needed 9 pitches to get through a 1-2-3 second after throwing 27 in the first. Story that came out, I think I read it today, regarding Arrieta and Tommy La Stella, teammate on this team who's on the disabled list, regarding their bet and their alma maters. TCU is the alma mater of Jake Arrieta. Coastal Carolina is the alma mater of Tommy La Stella.
So they had a little gamble did they involved on that game, right?
Well, I think they had 2, and The smaller of the two was won by Arrieta, but the bigger of the two, when they were vying to see who would go into the finals beginning tonight, was won by La Stella. And then the loser has to get a tattoo of the logo of the other school.
All right, so now since TCU is out,
right,
Coastal Carolina is in against Arizona in the finals in Omaha. Jake Arrieta is going to get a tattoo of Coastal Carolina.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, if he hides it under his beard, no one will ever know.
Question was posed to La Stella. Are there going to be pictures of this tattoo being put onto the body of Jake Arrieta? He said, well, depending on where it is put, yes, there will be pictures.
Well, Jake Arrieta did something that is rather difficult to do, and that is walking Zach Cozart. He has now given up 3 walks in this ball game.
Creeping way in at third is Bryant. Billy drops the bunt, and the throw will be to first. Close, but Billy is out. He gets credit for the sacrifice. It goes 1-3. Batter will be Joey Votto, and let's go back to the call center and our man Jim Day. Jim,
we continue to do our work up here. 513-765-7700 for a $100 donation to the Reds Community Fund. You're going to get an MVP gift package, a Ken Griffey Jr. replica jersey, a replica 1976 championship flag, a talking Marty Brennaman bobblehead, a very nice water bottle, and 2 tickets to a Reds future game. And if you go up to the $200 level premium package, you'll get all of those items plus an autographed ball signed by 1 of 6 players: Cozart, Votto, Bruce, Hamilton, Mesoraco, and Bailey. So it's a win-win situation. You give to the Reds Community Fund, we give you some gifts back. 513-765-7700, or you can log on to reds.com/telethon. We're here all night long. Reds Country, call to action.
thank you, Jim, and we'll be checking back in with you and George Grand throughout the course of the evening at the call center here at the ballpark. Trying to surpass that $150,000 total that was raised a year ago. I heard George and Mr. Castellini say off to a good start, over 29,000 already. Votto bats with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. He walked his first time, stole a base, and then later scored on the 2-run double by Adam Duvall. There he is with runners in scoring position. He, like most of his teammates, have done a very good job in that department. And despite the fact they had only 4 hits and 22 at bats against San Diego with runners in scoring position, the Reds still come into this game tonight second in the National League in that department at .279. There's a good view of the ballpark. I mean to tell you, you can see everything from up there.
And you probably get a nice cool breeze up there too. A lot of young people up there tonight. It's one of those kid glove nights that the Reds have hosted for so many years. 4 of them this year, and this one a very good one against the Cubs. Great matchup right here. I mean, this is really what baseball is all about. When you got your star pitcher versus your star hitter, runner at second base, each of them grinding out the at bat.
Mentioned earlier, Votto lifetime 2 for 11 against Arrieta. Final note, Chris mentioned the kid glove game tonight. 68th consecutive season the kid glove program has helped raise more than $10 million to buy baseball and softball equipment for more than 40,000 youngsters here in the greater Cincinnati area.
There they are. Well, you've got really dual action going on. The Reds are so very generous to the Kid Glove program. And of course, the Reds Community Fund telethon going on tonight.
It's all about, as we've heard Jim and George talk about, getting kids involved in baseball and softball. Ozark moves up as Votto is out 6-3. Take a look at our IGS bringing the energy feature for tonight's game. The top National League RBI duos. Look at the Reds group right there. Number 2, Jay Bruce and Adam Duvall. Now with 111. That's counting the 2 tonight by Duvall. So trailing only the Rockies, Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story. Cubs right behind them with Rizzo and Bryant. But that's a good number right there by Bruce and Duvall. Speaking of, here's Jay with a runner at third. And 2 men out.
Jay's had a tough time with Arrieta throughout the years. 8 strikeouts and 15 at-bats against Jake Arrieta, including one tonight in the first inning. That's one pitch right there that Jay Bruce thinks that he had. Arrieta wanted to come inside. It looked like we're based on where Montero is set up, and he's got lots of run on it. And it runs right back into the heart of the plate and just a little bit underneath it.
You see Jay choking up ever so slightly on the end of that bat with 2 strikes. And he knocks it up the middle. Big hit for Jay Bruce. Scores Cozart, and the Reds for the second time tonight have tied this game. We are 3-3 as Bruce came into the game hitting .411 with runners in scoring position. Gets another one here.
Really good at bat right here. A mistake pitch by Arrieta on an 0-2 count. He wanted to get that sinker down and away, and he left it up. And Bruce bangs it right back through the box for an RBI. Boy, the Reds show a little resilience here tonight. Arrieta has walked 3, and all 3 of the bases on balls have come around to score.
How about that? A little over 2 months after he no-hit the Reds here. Reds have 3 runs, 2 hits, but as Chris mentioned, 3 walks, all that have hurt Arrieta so far in this game tonight. Two-run double his first time for Duvall. RBI, by the way, gives Bruce 59 as he inches closer to the league leader, Nolan Arenado of the Rockies with 63. Bruce the go-ahead run with 2 men out. Suarez next. Runner going.
I think you mentioned earlier, Jim, how Adam Duvall broke out of a slump by hitting that double off the wall in the first inning. What I've noticed about Duvall recently is him beginning to chase pitches more aggressively up and out of the strike zone. He had been a guy that had been very conservative about chasing pitches that are high. And that's part of maybe getting into a little bit of a slump and trying to be over aggressive to get yourself out of it.
He takes strike 3. 4 of them in the inning now for Arrieta.
that I'm involved with doing it. It's just giving kids an opportunity to play, and allowing the game to continue to grow and be enjoyed. I think sometimes people get lost in a bit that, we play the game at such a high level, but there are so many people in the world that just play the game out of pure joy and have a lot of fun with it. And whether it's at a little league level, whether it's a challenger like a special needs level, whether it's a college, just getting your education paid for, it's something that's really important to allow kids and give kids the opportunity to go out there and play.
Well said by Jay Bruce. It is not only the field renovations, and Jay Bruce has his name on one of those. It's about the RBI program, reviving baseball in the inner cities. It's about the Reds Rookie Success League. It's about the award-winning match program where you're matching kids from urban communities with suburban communities. It is so much more. And the educational and the mentoring programs that go on at the Reds Urban Youth Academy, it is priceless, giving the youth of our community direction. And that's what the Reds Community Fund is all about, and that's what this night is all about. The Reds Telethon continues. 513-765-7700. We are taking your donations right now.
Thank you, Jim Day. And again, you're talking about the Reds Community Fund and the great work that they do to inspire youth to play baseball and softball. They've restored over 350 baseball and softball fields in Reds country, getting those things looking great and getting the kids out on those fields. Base hit into right by Coughlin with one out. That is hit number 6 for the Cubs here in this game. Batter will be the pitcher, Jake Arrieta.
Now, Coughlin has been a nice little addition to the Cubs. He's 31 years old, a former Rookie of the Year. They got him from the Oakland A's. And he's just one of those guys that gives you stability. You pick him up when you have a team that is a contending type team. They're going to let Arrieta swing away.
There's no doubt that Coughlin was disappointed when he was traded from the Cubs to Oakland in the offseason. They reacquire him. He had a career-high 16 home runs last year as a Cub. Former Rookie of the Year with the Marlins. Getting playing time here because of their outfield situation. We talked about the injuries as this team has had to go through this year. Dexter Fowler, Schwarber earlier, then Fowler, then Soler.
Well, the Fowler injury is the one that has most recently really set them back. He went on the disabled list the 20th of June, just a little while ago, and since that time the Cubs are 1-6 and they're batting overall as a team .214. How about that on a 1-2 pitch?
And you talked about the fact he came into the game hitting .258. That is his 9th hit of the year for the pitcher, Jake Arrieta.
Boy, does that make Joe Madden look like a smart manager. I mean, most managers are up there, they're having their pitcher bunt to get a run across. It's a very tight ball game. But Arrieta on a 1-2 pitch hangs a little rope out there on a hanging curveball. And Joe Madden puts another star on.
So the Cubs threaten again. They bring up their leadoff man, Ben Zobrist. Back goes Duvall. Near the wall, he will haul this in, and the runners have to retreat. Most notably, Coughlin hustles back into second base. Zobrist twice has hit the ball hard. Nothing to show for it, and that's out number 2.
Coughlin went halfway on that ball. I'm not so sure that he realized that that ball was going to die at the track and be easily caught by Duvall. Really what you're taught to do, even with 2 outs or making the second out there, is that if you know the outfielder is going to catch it, you go back and possibly tag up. If you think there's a chance that he might not catch it, go halfway at least, so that if he does drop it, you're able to score.
And now it's Jason Hayward with 2 on and 2 men out. Hayward in this game, a hit and a line out. He's 1 for 2. He, of course, the former Cardinals, signed with Chicago in the offseason. Said in effect he loved the youth of this club and the direction that they are headed here. He wanted to be part of it. Into left center. That's going to put the Cubs in front for the third time. Nice play by Billy Hamilton in left center field. Got that ball, cut it off, and on the run, fired it into third to hold Arrieta at second base and keep Hayward to a single.
Now, Jason Hayward seems to save his best for the Reds, doesn't he? I mean, he's hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. He's got 2 base hits to show for it. Picks up an RBI there. He came around to score the first run of the ball game in the first inning. For a guy coming in hitting .233, he has done a lot of damage in 3 at-bats.
Well, as you said, he's done a lot against the Reds this year. That's his 10th RBI. Came into the game hitting .367 against Reds pitching this year. Now it's Chris Bryant. And we've seen Zobrist in this inning. We've talked about Fowler. We're seeing Bryant now. These are some of the guys that are leading at their respective position in National League All-Star voting. And now Bryant unloads on this one. Middle of the second deck. That's a 3-run shot for Bryant. His 20th of the year. He's now driven in 5 in this game. And the Cubs now lead at 7-3.
I don't know what the scouting report is that the Reds have on Chris Bryant, but whatever it is right now, they ought to tear it up and throw it in a trash can. Because it includes throwing fastballs to Chris Bryant, and he has unjammed Dan Straley for the 2nd straight time. Pow.
Chris Bryant had a multi-home run game against the Reds on the night here when Arrieta had the no-hitter back on the 21st of April. In that game, a pair of home runs, 6 runs batted in a 4-for-6 night. He has a pair of home runs and 5 batted in so far in this game, and are only in the 4th.
Now, this is the part of the lineup that just last inning they faced Straley and 5 ropes in a row.
Talking about all-star voting, guys like Rizzo and Zobrist and Bryant certainly, and Addison Russell and Dexter Fowler all lead their all-star voting at their respective position. 5 of them.
Well, it's a popularity contest. I mean, they're having good years, they're good players, but let's face it, the all-star game for starters is a popularity contest. Let's get back to this inning. The key hit in this inning was done by the pitcher, Jake Arrieta, on a 1-2 pitch. I mean, if you know that when you turn the lineup over, you're talking about Zobrist, who's hit 2 line drives off of you. Jason Hayward, line drive after line drive. Chris Bryant already hit a home run. You've got to concentrate on getting Jake Arrieta out. If you get Arrieta out at the bottom of the order, you get Zobrist out, and you're out of the inning with no damage at all. Instead, a 4 spot on the board and a 7-3 game.
Reds have action now in their bullpen as Rizzo draws a 5-pitch walk. Jumbo Diaz, who was just recalled today from AAA Louisville, up and throwing. Brian Price out of the dugout, and he is 2 steps before the grass, and he makes the signal to the bullpen. Dan Straley will not get through the 4th inning here tonight. Reds will make a pitching change. Jumbo Diaz will come in. This is our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. going on around the big leagues. How about the Marlins? 26 straight games without an error by an infielder. Longest by any team since 1913. The Twins, only team in the big leagues without a shutout this year. Reds got off that list yesterday with their 3-0 win over the Padres. Yesterday, 52 home runs hit in the big leagues, the most in a single day since June 11th, 2006. T-Mobile, greater coverage of baseball. A distraught Straley in the Reds dugout. 7 runs, 9 hits, 3 2/3, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Rizzo, the runner at first, still his responsibility.
Well, we'll see now if great numbers in AAA can translate into at least decent numbers here at the major league level. Not so far for Jumbo Diaz. You see the earned run average up. 7 walks in 10 innings when he was up here earlier in the year. But down at AAA Louisville, he was just dominant down there.
Yeah, not once, but twice. He's gone down there twice and done very well.
24 innings. He only walked 7. He struck out 28, and earned run average of 0.7.
He gets the left fielder Wilson Contreras trying to get the final out here in the 4th. 8th man to bat in the inning. 3-run homer by Chris Bryant. His 2nd multi-home run game of the year against the Reds. Jumbo last worked on the 24th. That was Friday. 2 1/3 innings of no-run, no-hit relief for Delino DeShield's Louisville Bats. Solid contact by Contreras and a hit up the middle. He's been on 3 times, including a pair of hits. 5 hits now in this inning and 10 in the game by the Cubs.
Well, the long inning at least give you an opportunity to pick up the phone right now and help out the Reds Community Fund. A telethon going on right now. You can purchase MVP and premium packages at reds.com/telethon or pick up the phone 513-765-7700. Great cause, great gifts. Pick up the phone, make a new friend, and help out the Reds in the project that they have to help young people get back involved in baseball and softball in the Cincinnati area. And not just Cincinnati area, but really in Reds country.
Yeah, he talked about the fact that all the fields that they have restored, over 350 of them, a lot of them in this area, but a lot of them in all of Reds country, all around the area.
I've been to a lot of them too, and they do a great job, and they've rejuvenated interest in those areas, and it's such a worthwhile program.
Here's what we're talking about. More than 15,000 kids have visited the Urban Youth Academy since September. More than 2,300 in the Reds Rookie Success League in 5 different locations. 750 teams. You get kids involved playing baseball and softball. They become fans of the sport. They enjoy it. They come out here to the ballpark and enjoy this level of baseball.
And really, it's more than just about baseball. I've been over there a lot in the wintertime, and it's a terrific facility. It's like a Taj Mahal of baseball inside. But they have tutoring programs. They make sure the kids get their homework done. They feed some kids. I mean, it is just goes way beyond just bats and balls and baseball. You learn lessons of life, and you really help out the community. So pick up the phone right now, 513-765-7700, reds.com/telethon.
And we'll be checking in at the call center all night with our guys, Jim Day and George Grand over there. In fact, George has a couple of special guests coming up in the next half inning. Duvall has this measured, and that will put an end to the top of the 4th. Cubs come up with 4.
Continue with our Reds Community Fund night. As you can see, the Cubs leading in this one, but a whole lot more baseball left to be played and a whole lot more of discussion for the Reds Community Fund. Also tonight, I'm here with a couple of very special guests, Roosevelt Barnes Sr. and Roosevelt Barnes Jr. Roosevelt Sr., can I start with Dad first? That's fine. That's all right. Roosevelt, I know for you 14 years of coaching with youth baseball, with the RBI program, and I know it's meant a lot to you just as it has to the kids that you've taught.
It has. It's, as we talked earlier, it's somewhat of a ministry for me. And I got to tell you, I'm having a time of my life. I am. I mean, I've got a great group of kids, and we're just loving every minute of it. We're thankful to the Castellini family and the whole Reds organization for the opportunity.
Roosevelt went to Withrow High School, went to University of Cincinnati, 14 years of coaching now, and I know the facility, and Chris just talked about it, it's the Taj Mahal of facilities. Boy, he hit the nail on the head, didn't he?
Yes, it is. You know, if we had our druthers, we'd never leave there. I mean, we love playing baseball there. It's just a great opportunity for these kids, and we're really proud of it.
I know in talking with RBI officials from Major League Baseball, our facility, which cost over $7.5 million, is really the epitome of what they're trying to do in other places around the country.
Yeah, it is. You know, state-of-the-art facility there. It gives us the opportunity to, you know, not be encumbered by the inclement weather, you know, in the spring with rain. The turf field allows us to just play ball. And the facilities on the inside, the winter programming, all the work from Bill Daggy, Cameron Satterwhite. It's just a great group to work with.
I know Hal McRae, Ken Griffey Sr., a whole bunch of dads that coach their sons say the toughest job of coaching they ever had to do was coach their sons.
That is definitely true. It is definitely a challenge, and we've had some not so pleasant rides home, and you know, in the car. But you know, at 17U now, you know, it's all just fun. You just kind of sit back and enjoy, and you know, it's nice to just watch these kids become young men. So we love it.
Roosevelt Jr., I know you love the game of baseball. You're an outfielder going to Sycamore now. What's it like on those drives back with your dad after a tough game?
After a tough game, he might tell me what I did wrong, but most of the time I just try to block him out because he gets in my head at times. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's great being able to coach by my dad. It's awesome.
I know you're a believer not just in the RBI program, but in the teammates that you've met and the people that you've been able to spend time with.
Yes, sir. All I can say is I love those guys, and I love everything that happens at the Urban Youth Academy. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
You're an outfielder. How has the academy been able to help you get better as a baseball player?
Personally, as a baseball player, Cameron Satterwhite has helped me and a couple of my friends out. Just training, just conditioning, and lots of outfield work we can do to help our footwork and weight ball programs. But everything that we do there helps everyone that goes up there to become a better baseball player.
You guys are just down in Cobb County in Georgia, outside of Atlanta. Some stiff competition down there, huh?
Yes, sir. Everyone down there was there to compete, and our team was there to compete there too. And it was awesome to be able to see people who love the game just like we do.
Senior, Satterwhite has left you a pretty good legacy, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, yes he has. He was very successful last year at the RBI regionals. Actually got the team to the World Series, and so he left some pretty big shoes for us to fill. So we're excited about it. We're hopeful and to bring the RBI World Series here to Cincinnati this year and hope we can participate. So we're excited about it.
What can you say to families sitting out there that haven't been to the facility or that haven't experienced what you've experienced?
You know, get involved. I mean, it's a great facility. It's there for the community. And I would just encourage everyone to just get involved. I mean, at every level, there's something for you to grab a hold of there at the academy.
14 great years of coaching, and I know you got a business on the side. You got so much going on. Thanks for all the time that you spend with our youth.
You bet, George. I appreciate it.
Hey, Junior. Good luck, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Back to you guys. Roosevelt Barnes Sr., Roosevelt Barnes Jr.
Thank you, George, and thank you to the Barnes family. And it's just an example of what's going on out there at the Urban Youth Academy, isn't
Well, you're not kidding about that. They look like brothers, actually. I mean, Roosevelt looks like, boy, I got to find out what he eats, because he's looking fit and strong. And RJ, I know RJ, and what a wonderful young man. And you're going to meet a lot of wonderful young people if you ever drop by the Urban Youth Academy.
All right, meanwhile, here in the bottom of the 4th inning, the Reds get a base hit by Suarez. Peraza lined out. Now Barnhart with a 3-0 count. Pitcher spot is on deck. Ivan De Jesus Jr. in the on deck area. Michael Lorenzen is up and throwing in the Reds bullpen. Lorenzen has made 1 appearance since being activated from the disabled list. You know what he has gone through this year with his elbow issues and then mononucleosis, and he's back on this club. He'll be the new pitcher for the Reds come the top of the 5th. Meanwhile, here, Reds trying to battle back in this thing, down 7-3, have 2 on with 1 out. As you hear the story of the Barnes family and the other folks that have been able to experience the Urban Youth Academy and the good work done by the Reds Community Fund, you'd like to get involved, you can do so by calling 513-765-7700, making a donation, or go to reds.com/telethon. Good packages are available, MVP and premium packages. Jim will be talking about those more as we go along throughout the night. They would love to hear from you. They're all set up over there at the call center. De Jesus bats for Jumbo Diaz, who goes 1/3 of an inning. I told you yesterday that J.C. Ramirez had been claimed by the Angels, so the Reds actually played the game yesterday 1 player short. They called Jumbo up today from Louisville to fill that roster spot. He gets in there the first day. 2 batters faced, 1 hit, 1 out. Cubs will get 1 at second and safe at first. Good hustle by De Jesus.
Now, the good thing for the Reds right here is that Jesus didn't hit this ball very hard, and it was hard for the Cubs to turn that baby before he was able to get down the line to turn it from a double play into a fielder's choice. So you stay alive, a couple of runners stay on base, and you turn the lineup over.
Goes out of bat with 2 men out.
I wonder if the Cubs fans, or at least the Cubs front office, Joe Madden, Chris Bosio, are a little worried about Jake Arrieta. This is the 5th time this season he has walked 4 batters. I mean, still his earned run average is impeccable. He's 11-2. So, I mean, it's not panic time by any means. Things are worse, obviously, in Washington, where they've had to recently put Steven Strasburg on the disabled list. So it's nothing like that here in Chicago. But you're beginning to spring some leaks. And I'm just wondering if the close to 250 innings that he pitched last year, 230 innings in regular season, another 20 or so in the postseason, whether that may be taking a toll as you go forward throughout the summer, because you're certainly not used to seeing Arrieta miss the strike zone as consistently as he has missed it so far, especially in the last few starts.
Drew a walk his last time, one of the 4 walks that Chris is talking about. A little breakdown of Jake. First 9, last 6, and even that last 6 at 2.57, you take that in a heartbeat.
That'd be the best of any Red starter.
But when you're used to what he has been doing, that was through those first 9 starts. Yeah, you probably are a little bit concerned as to what has happened with Jake.
I mean, it's not panic time by any means, and every pitcher goes through it. Champion caliber pitchers go through it, and they only bend a little bit. Lesser pitchers break and have some horrible games, but Arrieta hasn't done that yet. Just missed that one.
Here comes Contreras, the left fielder, and he makes the catch. Cozart is out. The inning comes to an end.
Any donation. 513-765-7700. We just had a Cubs fan write a check for $200. Even they are getting involved. George Grand, you're standing by with a special guest.
Hey, you're right, JD, and really it was a great scene. He came up here and he was so impressed by everything that's going on with the community fund, and Simeon Graves Sr. is with us. Simeon, you're like the grandfather of the RBI program in youth baseball in this community fund. I know it's been special for you. Roosevelt Barnes told us how much it meant to him to be part of this. For you, I know you've been a flag bearer from the beginning.
Right. I mean, hey, George, this is everything that goes on at Roseland, the Urban Youth Academy. I mean, it's great. It's special. You got stuff for kids from 5 to 17, really 4 to 17. And I mean, it's just amazing what the people do. They do it from the kindness of their hearts. I mean, that's why we want people to donate tonight, because we definitely want to keep that place doing what they do, because it's excellent. It's excellent, George.
You say donate, we're now up to $45,000, and that's pretty good. That's a good start. We got a long way to go tonight, but $45,000 is pretty good so far, and the packages just keep coming rolling in.
I would say, is it the 5th inning? So we still got some time. So we definitely appreciate everything that comes. I mean, if you guys just come down and see what actually is done there, I mean, you will see that everything you donate is appreciated from the kids in Cincinnati. I mean, it's amazing, seriously.
Donations come in terms of money, yes, but the donations in terms of time for people like yourself and Roosevelt and all those coaches who donate their time, it's really a wonderful feeling and a special time for all of them.
I tell you though, George, I mean, it's fulfilling for us, because I mean, what we're doing is it's priceless. Our benefit is seeing the kids turn into something, you know, young men, young women, I mean, from all aspects. So I mean, it's fulfilling, because I mean, I've seen my team this year go from not getting along, you know, new kids blending together, to now, I mean, they cheer for each other when they're doing not the best, and I mean, so it's fulfillment. I mean, it's a great thing. It's a great thing.
Let me ask you, as a coach, you get kids coming from different parts of the community. They're not all from the same neighborhood. How do you blend them together, and what do you teach them? What do you tell them about being good teammates for each other?
I would say, I mean, because we got kids from Price Hill to College Hill to Avondale, and I mean, what we do, I mean, they're all the same. And I think that once we make them run together, they sweat together, they hit the ball together, they strike out together, and I mean, we win together and we lose together, but winning is fun. You know, I'm not being funny, George. I love the Reds, you know, the Cincinnati Reds. Winning is fun, and I think with us having a great year this year, that these kids, they grabbed it, and I mean, they are a little machine. I mean, from my son to the kid I just met this year, I mean, I look at none of them different. So, to me, I mean, I just treat them all the same, and they treat each other like brothers. I mean, and that's what I see. You know, it's a great feeling for me and my other coaches.
Now you talk about your son, but now you got a daughter too in softball. Talk about that.
Well, yeah, I gotta be fair. Now, I appreciate honestly Roseline for the softball because, I mean, they take girls like my daughters that, you know, are wanting to learn and want to learn and want to turn into the girls that's on the telethon right now. And I think, I mean, we appreciate everything. I mean, my day is nonstop. I mean, it's either baseball, softball, strength and conditioning. I mean, I can keep going, tutoring. So, I mean, please, people, just donate, keep the place, keep them going. I mean, we definitely appreciate everything.
Simeon, it's a great honor for us to be part of this. It's an honor to be with you and to honor you for what you do.
Thank you. Go Reds. I mean, it's not over yet, so let's keep it going. And I look forward to seeing you soon, George. Thank you.
That's Simeon. Let's go back to you guys.
Well, you come back, and unfortunately, you get that ball hit hard to right field by Jake Arrieta. Not only did he drive a run in here, he gets his second hit of the night, his second home run of the season. It adds to the Cubs' lead. It's now 8-3. You should have stayed with George and Simeon.
I'll tell you what. That's pretty much unbelievable because the fastball that Michael Lorenzen throws right here, we have measured at 99 miles an hour, and there's Jake Arrieta taking it opposite field from knee high out of the ballpark.
Third home run by the Cubs tonight. Second of the year by Jake Arrieta from Michael Lorenzen, who made his first appearance on Friday against the Padres, and he gave up a 2-run homer in that game to Melvin Upton Jr. He's been touched up twice for long balls in his 2 games so far. Long run there and a foul ball. Good effort. Trying to get to that thing by Adam Duvall.
99 is not what it used to be.
Jake Arrieta showing he's a pretty darn good athlete. He ties,
I mean,
Syndergaard and
99
Bumgarner.
miles an hour?
Maybe he and Bumgarner are making some headway in getting into that home run derby.
It just goes to show you, though, I mean, Arrieta is an exceptional athlete. There's no question about it. He takes conditioning to a completely different level than what most baseball players do, and they're already way above what average citizens ever think about doing. But when you look like you're throwing 100 miles an hour and you throw 100 miles an hour, you're going to get hit all over the ballpark. You got to have a little deception.
Lorenzen, 24 years old. Cal State Fullerton, his alma mater. The elbow issues in spring. The mononucleosis that kept him out. He lost 20 pounds. Working his way back. Finally rejoined this team last week. And making his second appearance of the year. Ian Rysel Iglesias will work out of the bullpen this year. They'll reevaluate everything at the end of the season. At the first 2 and a line out by Russell and a strikeout of Coughlin. Then the home run by Arrieta. And now a rip into right field by Zobrist that's going to go all the way to the wall. Bruce comes up firing, but not in time. Zobrist's first hit of the night. Twelve hits now for the Cubs in this game.
Whatever little mini slump the Cubs were in coming into this ball game, and they were only hitting .214 as a team in their last week, they found the answer.
Zobrist, for one, was hitting .189 this month. He gets the hit. He's 1 for 4.
He's hit the ball very hard twice.
Now it's Jason Hayward.
Well, he's wearing the baseball out every time he swings the bat.
3 ABs tonight, 3 hard hit balls, 2 hits.
Here's what they've been doing. There's the mini slump. The last 7 games, 3 runs per game. For that 5.2. And still, they came into this game overall 3rd most runs scored in the National League. And the best on base percentage. This team is pushing .350 as a team in an on base percentage, second only to Boston in the major leagues. Joe Madden took this Cubs club to the NLCS last year when they lost to the Mets. Suarez, and he throws out Hayward to put an end to the top of the 5th inning. Brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on U.S. News Best Children's Hospitals. There's, George likes to call it, the big ballpark by the river. From the Kentucky side, inside Jake Arrieta. Finds himself in front by 5 at 8-3. He's allowed 3 runs, 3 hits. He's walked 4. Chris mentioned that earlier. That's been, as of late, a little bit of a problem for him. He walked 4 his last time out against the Cardinals, 3 2 starts ago against Pittsburgh. Walked the batter, gave up a hit in the 4th, but Reds did not score. Now they'll have Hamilton, Votto, Bruce here in the bottom of the 5th. Billy tonight has walked at a sacrifice bunt, stole a pair of bases in the 1st. And now he's ahead, 3 balls and a strike. And a 5-pitch walk marks the 5th walk of the game by Arrieta. That's a season high. Leadoff man on, 3rd consecutive inning.
But even when Jake Arrieta has a hiccup, the Cubs offense has been there to help him out every time. I mean, you don't have very many hiccups when you come into a ball game. Your earned average is 1.7. But he's 11-2, and he's had a lot of easy games like this one, where the Cubs have averaged this year, when he takes them out, nearly 8 runs a game in support. And by contrast, if you go back over the last few years, you look at all of the times that Johnny Cueto went out there, and he had annually one of the lowest run support averages of any pitcher in the league. So So when you have a great year, when your team scores you a bunch of runs on the nights that you pitch, sure takes a lot of the stress out of a leadoff walk.
Hamilton going. He'll have to come on back as Votto fouls it away. Throw got away from Rizzo. That's going to get Hamilton to second base. Throw is low by Arrieta. And that'll be an E1, sending Hamilton down to second. I mean, Rizzo had no chance to get that ball. It was way wide and behind Billy.
The only chance Arrieta had was Billy's body stopping that ball.
So here's Votto with a third chance in this game to hit with a runner in scoring position. Walked his first time, grounded out his second time.
You know, even in a game that has been separated now by 5 runs with that big outpouring in the 4th by the Cubs, I find this matchup just compelling.
We talked about it earlier. Votto 2 for 11 coming into this game against Arrieta. He cracks one here. This is going to get the Reds closer. That's a home run. He yanked it into the moon deck out in right. Home run for Votto, number 12. The Reds inch closer. It is now 8-5. He circles the bases, giving him 38 runs batted in.
Votto is really heating up. He's by far the hottest Reds hitter, and he just bears down in this at bat against Jake Arrieta. Gets his foot ready to go, drives against his front side, and pops one right on out of here.
Well, it's now an 8-5 game. Been a long drought for Votto, almost 3 weeks since his last home run on the 7th of June. And how about this? The first non-solo home run given up by Arrieta since July of last year.
Wow.
Some 30 starts ago. Rizzo will make this play for out number 1.
Well, we mentioned early on that Arrieta, born in Farmington, Missouri, is raised outside of Dallas in Plano, Texas. And in fact, the Reds chose him in the draft when he was a senior in high school. Drafted in the 31st round. He chose to attend Weatherford Junior College instead. Then he went on to TCU, and the Orioles ended up picking him 5th in the draft in 2007. But in the off seasons, he lives fairly close to Homer Bailey, and Homer Bailey and Jake Arrieta have become kind of workout partners. And of course, Arrieta has taken conditioning to a different level, so has Homer Bailey, and especially in his quest to get back to the major leagues. And I believe he pitched the rehab start in Louisville tonight. Homer did.
Yeah, he did. It's the first of what we've been told will be at least 5 rehab starts for Bailey. Worked down at Louisville Slugger Field tonight. The goal was to get him 25 pitches, and that's exactly what he threw. It took him 1 inning, only 1 inning to do it. He gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, struck out a batter, gave up 2 home runs. But he is on his way back, Homer Bailey.
You know, forget the numbers. I mean, if you're a Louisville Bats fan, you want to win the ball games, obviously, but you know, you forget the numbers, because at this point, when you're coming back from elbow surgery and he had a little bit of a setback, anytime you come off the mound and your arm doesn't hurt, it's been a good outing.
Brian Bryant handles that, so that becomes the second out of the inning. Reds have put up 5 runs tonight now against this right-hander Jake Arrieta. The most runs he has allowed in a start since the 23rd of May last year. That is, wait till you hear this one, 40 starts ago since he gave up this many runs. That's how dominant Jake Arrieta has been. This ball ripped by Suarez, but going to be handled in center by Hayward to retire the side. The Reds get closer on the 2-run shot by Votto. To 4. Reds get a little bit closer in the bottom of the 5th inning with a 2-run homer by Joey Votto, and we're pleased to come upstairs to the booth here on this Reds Community Fund Telethon night. Yes, in the middle of us here is Karen Forgas. She's the Senior Vice President of Business Operations for the Reds. And Karen, thanks for coming up and joining us upstairs.
I have looked at this seat for 10 years thinking, what's it like up there?
Well, you're always welcome.
Here
up
I
there,
am.
Karen. You know that?
You guys got quite a view.
But this night's such a special night for the Reds and for the Reds Community Fund for you. I know all the planning that has gone into it. Take us through your part of it and the Reds Community Fund Telethon night.
Well, first of all, we're so grateful to Fox for being willing to partner with us on this. And I would tell you that one of the first things we do is look at the schedule to see when to lay it in. And so this year in particular, we thought it was perfect to do after the Pete Rose weekend. Perfect timing.
I tell you what, Bryant gets a double here to start this inning. But Karen, talk about it. We've heard George talk about it. We've heard Jim talk about it. And with the guests that they have had over there, the connection between the Reds and the community is so important to try to get people back involved in this great game of baseball.
Well, I will tell you, I don't know if the word back involved is the right word, because what I've seen since I've been here is the turnstile turns and people come out to the Reds games in the summer. So for us, it was really about recognizing that, you know, even if we're home 81 times and it's a 4-hour experience, what do they do in the rest of the time? And people are in their neighborhoods. And the Reds are their team. So we really made an intentional decision to get out and visit the neighborhoods, be in the neighborhoods where people live, go to the communities. Reds Country is a huge footprint. So the Community Fund really was a perfect funding arm to make sure that we could go into the individual communities and kind of round out what they needed. And everyone's a little different. You know, some need uniforms, some need fields, some need coaches training. So whatever's needed for that community is what we've been having the agility to supply.
Let's go back to the beginning of the Community Fund. And did you have any idea then, when it just started and you're still trying to get a committee together and people kind of in the community to back it and essentially seed money to get it going, did you have any idea back then that it would grow to what it is now and that you're helping so many, I mean, thousands of youth around Cincinnati Reds, you know, Reds country, not just Cincinnati, it's phenomenal how this has just mushroomed and grown.
I'll tell you what, here's how I kind of knew it might happen. Have you ever met Bob Castellini? I got to tell you, when I first got hired, you get hired by Bob, you actually get sworn in. And one of the things, you know, but I'm telling you what, he looks you right in the eye, and he told me my first day, he said, look, you are never to make a business decision for the Reds without first considering the civic and economic impact. And so with that mindset, then every single thing that we did well on the business side to improve the fan experience and expand the corporate partnerships, every time we did that and we never took our eye off of the community fund, that grew along with us. So, I mean, we sit here today, the three of us, look at this beautiful ballpark, this wonderful city that's thriving right now, and there's an intentionality from ownership on down to make sure that the community gained momentum with us here at the ballpark.
And there's no stopping it now.
Oh my goodness, I will tell you, it is so exciting. The Urban Youth Academy, what about that? And I know they've talked about that, and the reality is most of the people watching you tonight are not going to get to go there. So not to downplay it, it is spectacular. It serves an amazing purpose. But what I want people to remember, which is how my world interacts, is that the Reds Community Fund will come to you. You don't have to always come to us at the Urban Youth Academy. There's ways for us to make a difference.
All right, so what do you mean that the Reds Urban Academy and the Community Fund will come to you? I know that there have been so many different ballparks throughout Reds country that you've rejuvenated and you've really, I mean, sometimes there's broken glass on the field. You've got first the cleanup begins and then
Chalk,
the rejuvenation.
we do everything.
Yeah, but what do you mean that they come out to the community? I mean, do you actually get out there and visit all the different communities?
It's hard to go into our front office without there being a map. Okay, we are map-oriented people. Not only do we have the 104 radio affiliates, we've got all the Fox footprint, and we have baseball teams and rec centers and community centers throughout all Reds country, so we know where they're located, and we make a point to make sure we touch everybody on that map in one way, shape, or form.
Well, you are the most thorough executive I've ever been around with the Reds. Congratulations, Karen.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
Thanks.
Score in favor of the Cubs, and we still have Karen Forgas with us, a senior VP Business Operations for the Reds, because Karen, we couldn't let you get away without talking about a huge night coming up in July, a night of their own.
A night of their own. You know what that is? That's the fact that basically for 81 games the Reds are not in town and this big beautiful ballpark is open. So like all of my sisters out there, we love to have an easy out, and it is the most fun. Get your girlfriends and you come down here to the ballpark. First of all, it's best to come in a group, okay? And it's sort of one of those things where, you know, what happens at the ballpark that night doesn't leave the ballpark. And there's lots of cocktails. There's actually some baseball played. You get to go down on the field. You get to hit. You get to throw. You come to the broadcast booths. How about that? You get to be like me tonight. I think Jim Day may even make a cameo, although we will not let him jump out of a cake, even though he's asked to.
A nice
I might sign up for that one.
Anyway, but you know, honestly, it is one of the most fun nights of the year. So I encourage everybody. We have limited amount of slots. This thing is doubled in size, and we still have to cut it off. So before your 4th of July holiday, which most of us kind of get a different mindset because we've got to do some things with kids, travel, picnics, and things. Get your girls on the phone, get the date down, July 21st, and get your reservation in. Because if you wait, I'm afraid it'll be gone. And it's one of those nights where it's grown, and what happens is it's the repeat people. It's like our fantasy camp for men. Only for us women, it's very succinct. It's one night, it's memorable, and you'll come back.
All right, now I've got to ask Amanda Brenneman this question, and I'm dying to hear your answer to this. You've been to this before.
I have.
Obviously, it may have been your brainchild in the very beginning.
Who's to say?
What, now that you've been through it, what is the absolute best thing for you that goes on that night?
Putting on the catcher's gear. I'm not kidding you. Putting on that catcher's gear. It is unbelievable when you actually stand behind home plate and you put all that stuff on. Wow. And it gives you an appreciation for just how far apart those bases are. These guys make it look very easy. And honestly, it gives you a perspective. So that's really what it is, because deep down, we're all 8 years old.
Yeah. I see baseball heaven in your future.
Oh! A fantasy camp involves baseball and spa, okay?
Well, it's a great behind-the-scenes, though, look at what's going on here. And then it's also an educational experience, isn't it, in terms of learning what goes on the bases, in the dugout, in the bullpen area?
It really is. And you know what? We don't bring the players to this. We really don't. We go for the coaches and the managers, and they are spread out strategically throughout the ballpark, and they are there to instruct and answer questions. So, I mean, I'm kidding about it being fun, but the truth is you actually do come here to kind of learn something about the game. Your baseball IQ goes up, and your Facebook page gets filled.
Well, Barnhart's going to drive in a run here as the Reds get back into this thing. It's now 8-6. Run producing two-base hit by Tucker Barnhart. Let's touch on the big information again, Karen. A night of their own, July 21st.
July 21st. Go to Reds.com and look for details there with Reds Community Fund. A night of their own. Believe me, it's going to fill up, and you're going to regret if you wait another 10 days. It'll probably be full.
All right, so you make plans for that, but before you do that, you pick up the phone tonight, 513-765-7700. You talk to one of the volunteers, you donate a little bit to the community fund, you come on out with your girlfriends to
That's right.
a night of their own.
Money goes to the community fund.
It's like a doubleheader right there.
It really is. Speaking of doubleheader, I believe when Bob Castellini was in the booth over there, we scored some runs. I'm starting to see a correlation here.
You're going to get the action going up here.
I may need to sit around here. This is a nice seat.
Michael Lorenzen going to bat for himself here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Cameron, we really appreciate your coming by, talking to us about the Reds Community Fund, the good things that are going on with the telethon tonight, and of course, talking about a night of their own, which is coming up just under a month from now.
Well, we appreciate you both. Thank you very much for all you do.
Great job, Karen.
Thanks
for coming up.
Karen Forgas, Senior Vice President, Baseball Operations, Business Operations, I should say, here at the Reds. Thank you, Karen. Reds have gotten a run. They're down now by just a pair at 8-6. Lorenzen now representing the tying run here. Trevor Cahill, by the way, is the new pitcher for Chicago, replacing Arrieta. Now he has fallen behind 3-0 to Lorenzen.
Well, he's definitely off tonight, Cahill is, because he walked the leadoff hitter Peraza. He gives up a base hit, a double to Barnhart, and now he's down 3-0 to the opposing pitcher. You know, Joe Madden is not the kind of manager to show any kind of outward worry, and he probably doesn't even worry inside. If you ever saw any of the antics that they pull when they travel on the road. They recently went to Miami, and I think they had the theme that they had was, you know, beach bum type theme. But he can't feel real comfortable about the way this game has gone when his team scored 8 runs and they have not been able to pull away from the Reds. The Reds just keep hanging right in there. Cahill finally throws a strike.
Swing and a miss by Lorenzen. The ball bounces away, and the Cubs are forced to throw it down there. And Lorenzen, sprinting the 90 feet, is just retired on the throw by Montero.
Well, the pitch that he throws right here on a 3-2 looks like a changeup to the opposing pitcher. I mean, that may give you a little bit of an insight where Cahill feels about his fastball right now.
Cozart tonight is 0 for 2 with a walk. He scored a run. He represents the tying run with Barnhart out at second base and only one out. This is going to be playable for Montero, and the Cubs catcher handles that for out number 2. Of a pattern developing if you're Jake Arrieta. He goes 5 innings tonight, allows 5 runs, 4 hits, marks the 4th time in his last 7 starts he's gone only 5 innings.
Well, he went 4 innings his last time out, only 6 innings the time before that. So, you know, I don't know whether, and if you look at the pitch counts in each one of these ball games, he's reached 100 pitches, you know, in 5 or 6 innings. So they have not let him go deep as far as, you know, 120 pitches in a game. But when you get to 105 pitches in the 5th inning, many of those pitches are under stress, especially because you've walked so many batters. You're putting runners on base, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But he certainly did not look like the same pitcher that came through here and won 16-0 on a no-hitter when the Reds saw him back in April.
Cubs have further action in their bullpen. The former Red Travis Wood is throwing. Reds have action in their pen with Ross Ohlendorf. And the throw is a little bit offline by the second baseman Zobrist. That's what Hamilton can do with his speed. He forces the bad throw, and Billy is on with his first hit of the night. He's on for the 3rd time tonight.
I think it was Rizzo that makes the mistake right here, because as soon as Rizzo decides to go for this ball, there is no way Cahill's going to outrun Billy Hamilton. Forget about it. So Rizzo has to stay at home and hope that the second baseman gets to the ball. And if he doesn't matter. But I mean, Cahill, you're going to come in second place every time in that race.
Now Joe Madden goes to the mound. He's had the lefty Wood throwing. Votto is due up, and he will take the baseball with Joe Madden from Trevor Cahill. Here comes Travis Wood.
may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
How about that sky as we look at the sun setting here on this Monday night here at Great American Ballpark? Billy Hamilton, after beating that out, celebrates that a little bit with Dad Dude over there, getting the night off tonight. Kind of like the boxing corner. He's the corner man right there for Billy Hamilton.
Cut me, Brandon.
The lefty Travis Wood comes on to face the lefty Joey Votto with 2 men on and 2 men out. That'll drift out of play.
Wood has been really one of the best relievers that Joe Madden has had on this Cubs team all year long. He's got a 3-0 record. He's been in 38 games now, and he's only given up 16 hits in 30 innings.
Billy going, and Votto lifts it to left. It's going to stay in the ballpark. And Contreras makes the play. Reds get a run, but leave 2 men on.
Fun telethon, and let's summarize it like this. Make a donation, 513-765-7000 MVP gift package for a $100 donation. Ken Griffey Jr. replica jersey, a replica 1976 championship flag, a water bottle, a couple Reds tickets, and the ever popular talking Marty Brennaman bobblehead, which I have in my hands right here. You've heard the call, 4192. You press a button. Check this out.
He levels it out a couple of times. Shao kicks and he fires. Rose swings.
How cool is that? You got Marty and Joe at the press of a button. So not only a Marty Brennaman bobblehead, but it talks to you. Come on, Cincinnati. We're at $57,000 right now. Get on the phone, 513-765-7700. Log on to reds.com/telethon. Taking your calls right now.
I love the fact that that number keeps going up over 57,000 now. And we also love the fact that it looks like Jim Day is wearing a championship ring tonight. Not only a wedding ring, but a championship ring. Looking good, Jim Day.
Jim Kelch, it's actually a all-star ring. Check it out.
Let's take a look at that, Jimmy.
Commemorating the all-star game last year.
Well, we had the all-star game last year, and Jim Day is an all-star performer tonight on behalf of the Reds Community Fund. Nice job, JD.
Thank you, Jimmy.
He's having a hard time holding that hand still. A little nervous, I think.
Ohlendorf, the new Reds pitcher. He's going to get the leadoff man here, Russell, on that deep fly ball. Handled by Billy Hamilton for out number 1.
I got to say, when the Cubs come to town and the Cubs have a winning year, the Cubs fans do show up, and there are a lot of them here tonight. But I got to tell you that every time a ball goes up in the air off a Cubs bat, even if the shortstop's backpedaling into the left field to get it, they start to yell and scream like every ball that goes in the air is going to be a home run. Now, take it easy. Not every ball that goes in the air is leaving the ballpark.
Well, they're just so excited to see their team play in person.
Unless, of course, Chris Bryant comes to the plate.
Yeah, he's been a one-man wrecking crew against the Reds. 2 home runs tonight, 6 of them against the Reds this year. This is Chris Coughlin batting out of the 8th spot. He's 1 for 3. Pitcher spot, Travis Wood, is in the on-deck area.
Boy, is that a good pitch. That's just a simple little changeup right there. I really believe that, you know, Michael Lorenzen spending a lot of time down the bullpen with a veteran like Ross Ohlendorf, who's we know he's a very bright guy, but he's got a really good idea about pitching, and he'll give you his knowledge if you ask. He should really help Michael Lorenzen a lot. I mean, the Reds have been looking for that kind of influence in the bullpen. Ohlendorf for a very short while was used as at the very back end of the bullpen as a closer. Then along came Cingrani. Now we have Raisel Iglesias to maybe use towards the very end of the ball game. Ohlendorf gets moved up a slot or 2, but he's got a lot of knowledge to dispense.
Well, there's no doubt things are starting to get better, both in the rotation and in the bullpen for this team. It may not show it quite yet in the numbers, but you're certainly hoping that that will be the case in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We are approaching the midway point of the season, so the numbers change slowly the more games you play. Tonight, the 77th game of the year. Cubs led 2-0. Reds tied it. Cubs led 3-2. Reds tied it. Cubs led 8-3. Reds have gotten back to within 8-6. We're in the top of the 7th. Michael Lorenzen goes 2, allows 1 run on 3 hits. Jumbo Diaz 1/3 of an inning. Ohlendorf, the 3rd Reds reliever, 4th pitcher of the night. Dan Straley, the starter, 7 runs, 9 hits, and 3 2/3. Most earned runs he's given up in a game in his career.
Bring him up.
Like Coughlin there is trying to help sell that thing to Mike Muchlinski. To no avail.
I'll tell you one thing that we've noticed, and maybe even more so recently, especially over the weekend. Umpires are calling that low strike. I mean, that is a strike. The hollow of the knees. So if the top part of the baseball touches the hollow of the knees, you know, it gives you an extra 3 inches. The diameter of the ball, and umpires are getting right down there to call it.
Travis Wood, who came on and retired Votto on the fly ball, will stay in there to face Bruce. Bats for himself. Pretty good hitter. See the number this year, actually for his career, 180. He has 9 career home runs, including back-to-back years of 2013 and 2014, where he had 3 each year. Cubs have gotten 3 home runs tonight, 2 by Chris Bryant, 1 by the starter, Jake Arrieta. In fact, it's the second time in 3 games that the Reds have given up a home run to a pitcher. The first one this year was just on Saturday afternoon when Drew Pomeranz of the Padres hit a home run. Now Arrieta tonight. Wood is called out on strikes. Only the second time tonight the Cubs have gone in order. Ohio has been brought to you by Kroger. Stop by your neighborhood Kroger to save big store-wide. Great food, low prices at Kroger. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Reds down a pair, 8-6. Have been out hit 13-6, but have battled back into this game. Scored 2 in the 5th on the 2-run homer by Votto. That was against Arrieta. Got another one in the 6th inning. Run producing double by Barnhart. Now Jay Bruce, second on the team in homers, leader in RBIs. Comes up against his old teammate Travis Wood. Javier Baez has come into the game. He's now playing third base for the Cubs. Chris Bryant has moved to right field. Chris Coughlin is out of the game. Toward left, and Contreras, who first went back, now comes in and makes the play. So Wood does his job, getting both Votto and Bruce both on fly balls. First out, bottom of the 7th.
Well, they don't usually use Travis Wood, even though he is the only left-hander in the Cubs bullpen. They don't use him as a loogie, which is the left only one guy type pitcher, or come in as a lefty specialist. He's more of a multi-inning guy when he does come into a ball game because he's been so good this year. I'm not really sure whether Travis has ever bought into the fact that he should be in the bullpen. I think he still believes he should be a starter. But it was a move that was made with him, and it has really benefited him and the Cubs ball club.
Duvall 1 out of 3, produced that 2-run double back in the 1st. Sounded like a broken bat, and indeed it is. Duvall will go back to the dugout. Well, Ohlendorf did his job in the 7th inning, and Reds now have Blake Wood throwing in their pen. He gets into a game. It'll be his first appearance back since returning from paternity leave. Hit it well toward left center field. That ball is going to be over the head of Hayward and off the wall. Hustling into second and getting in there with a slide and a 2-base hit is Adam Duvall, his second double of the night. For Duvall, double number 18. Tying run will come to the plate.
Well, Hayward at the very end of this play really shows off an outstanding arm. This ball hit over the head of the center fielder. Hayward's not really sure where he is. He doesn't want to run into that center field wall, and he backs up just in case, and that ball came right to him, and boy, does he have an arm.
He, of course, normally has been their right fielder. Fowler plays center, but with Fowler out, Hayward has primarily moved over to play center field. Meanwhile, here comes Joe Madden out of the bullpen. Will come a new Cubs pitcher as Travis Wood finished for the night.
Special people tonight, amongst them Donzetta Nuxall. God love you, Donzetta. Great to hear from you. Comedian Josh Sneed, Barry Larkin's mom Shirley, thank you very much. James Lamb, the father of John Lamb, has donated tonight, as well as Dick Weiland, who's a local philanthropist, a community leader. He has donated $7,500. This was on top of $7,500 he gave previously this season. And Aaron Harang, that Miracle League field that they built, bears his name. And I know Dick Weiland is out there searching around maybe some friends. And I put the challenge out to you, you philanthropists out there. Would you like to match Dick Weiland $7,500? Who's got him in it? Who's got it in them? 513-765-7700 or log on to Reds.com/telethon. We're on the home stretch. Come on, Reds country. Let's do it for the kids.
Suarez hit this ball hard. It's going to be run down by Hayward. Duvall's going to tag and move up to third. And he's there now with 2 out. Jim Day laying down the gauntlet challenge to get that money in there. Call. Help out the Reds Community Fund. In that number, 513-7700. 765-7700.
Well, if you've been sitting at home watching this ball game and you're thinking, all right, I'm on the fence, I don't know whether I want to do it or not, go ahead and do it.
You can also log on at Reds.com/telethon. Donate that way as well. New pitcher on for the Cubs is Pedro Strop. Comes in with a 3.14 ERA, but with 42 strikeouts, 28 2/3 innings. Opponents hitting only 178 against him.
Strop is.
Ball gets away. Duvall will score. This is a one-run game now at 8-7.
Well, that's just what the doctor ordered right there with 2 outs. Montero went down to try to block that ball. This ball was just so wild that he had no chance. In fact, the spin of the ball is going to make the ball go opposite direction, if that makes any sense. So a slider from a right-hander is going to bounce toward the third base dugout. And Montero has a ricochet off him.
Peraza to center. Hayward back, but Hayward, after doing a 360, makes the catch to retire the side in the bottom of the 7th.
$1,000 after the Gym Day Challenge in the last half inning as we continue with the Reds Community Fun Ball game against the Chicago Cubs. Hi, hello, and welcome back to Great American Ballpark. George Grant along with Yolinda Miller. Yolinda, you talk to people that are part of the Reds Community Fund and part of RBI. I mean, you're a rock star for them. What you've done as the athletic director at Hughes High School to utilize the facilities to help the young people, it's been pretty special for you too, I know.
Absolutely. The Reds have been really good to Hughes High School and the Reds Community Fund, the Castellinis, Charlie Frank. What they've been able to build is amazing, and the fact that they choose to give back to Cincinnati public and inner city kids and Hughes High School we're just so thankful.
Now, you're an athlete yourself. You went to UC, basketball player there, worked at UC, and then how did you end up at Hughes?
Well, I wanted to stay in Clifton. I loved Clifton. I knew I wanted to give back. I had a passion for, you know, just younger kids. And I had a great athletic director and a great support system. And I saw a need and just stepped in to fill it. And it's just become my passion, my life's work.
You've had some interesting stories of players that you've come through your system that are still part of this program.
Absolutely. Darren Bowling comes to mind. He came to my office and said, you know, Miss Jolinda, I don't want to play basketball anymore. And I picked up the phone and called Bill Daggy, and I said, this kid wants to pitch. It's his passion. He wants to pitch in college. Can you help him? And they put together a program for him. He got a scholarship to Morehouse. He's majoring in engineering. He has a 3.0. He threw out the first pitch here at the Futures game during the All-Star games last year. I mean, he's just been amazing, and the Reds Urban Youth Academy did all of that for him.
I understand, too, on that throwing out the first pitch that day was a pretty meaningful day for you and your husband, Britt.
Yes, I was in labor having our son, so I missed the entire All-Star experience. But Darren was so sweet. He brought me the ball that he threw out the first pitch with. It was stamped with the Futures game and the date, and gave it to me for our son. So it was a very special weekend for the city of Cincinnati and the Miller family.
You've seen so many kids come through and benefit, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's amazing to watch. You know, kids come to us and they've never played before. You know, we have baseball players come as freshmen that it's the first time they've hit live pitching. And so to see the transformation of that and see them graduate and win games, and it's just been an amazing, amazing ride, I guess, with the Reds Community Fund for sure.
Not easy to foster a sports program. 13 years as an athletic director in an inner city school is not easy.
It's not. Our baseball program struggled for quite a while. We didn't have the resources. I was begging teachers for gloves. I think one year we even used plastic gloves that the Reds used as a giveaway, as actual on-field gloves. And we went 0-30 in the league over a 3-year span. And then with the Reds Community Fund got involved, and we had more resources, had a place to come to bring our kids to learn to hit and pitch. And last year we were undefeated in the league and won the league championship. So it's been a complete turnaround for Hughes baseball, and we owe it all to the Reds and the Reds Community Fund.
We're climbing up to 64,000. What do you have to say to everybody who's out there watching?
I just want to say to everyone out there watching, I'm on the front lines and I see where your money goes and how it changes kids' lives. And we just would really love for you right now to pick up the phone and donate. And the Reds Community Fund and Hughes High School and Cincinnati Public could sure use it.
Thanks, Jolinda. Congratulations on all you do.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Jolinda Miller, let's go back to you guys.
Thank you, George. She's the athletic director at Hughes High School. I remember when she was a player at the University of Cincinnati, a pretty darn good one, pretty good guard. Again, if you'd like to donate, Reds Community Fund, help out the folks who need help to try to learn baseball, to try to incorporate baseball into their programs. 513-765-7700, reds.com/telethon. 2 men out here in the 8th inning. Chris Bryant at the plate. He has been impossible for the Reds to get out tonight. Doubled twice. He's homered twice. He's driven in 5 runs. Trying to become the first Cubs hitter since 1913. 5 extra base hits in a game. Oh boy. He launches another one. High, deep, second deck shot. A 3-homer game for Chris Bryant. 6 RBIs. That marks the second time this year he's driven in 6 in a game against the Reds. And it's 9-7.
Well, Tucker Barnhart wants that high fastball up there. And the reaction. Boy, that must have felt good. That ball was absolutely walloped.
You know this, it sounded pretty good for Cub fans. Rizzo to right. Back to back here in the 8th inning. The first 2 are retired rather quickly. 5 home runs by the Cubs tonight. 97 of them now on the year. Third time this year Reds opponents have gone back-to-back against them, all of them coming in this month of June. Colorado did it, the Nationals did it, now the Cubs have done it.
Well, Chris Bryant, what a game. He's had 16 total bases in this game. That's Anthony Rizzo. He's got reason to celebrate also. But Bryant, I got a trivia question for you. I'm going to ask it, and when Ohlendorf is able to retire Contreras, hopefully, I'll let you think about it and come back. When is the last time you've seen an opposing player have 16 total bases in one game against the Reds?
I don't know that I have ever seen.
A very famous night back at Riverfront Stadium.
Reds do indeed retire Wilson Contreras, a strikeout and a throw out at first base. Cubs go back-to-back with Bryant and Rizzo, and they're now up 10-7 in the middle of the eighth. Before every game, right here on Fox Sports Ohio with Reds Live pregame presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. We'll come at you tomorrow at 6:30 with Reds Live, 7:10 with the first pitch. Here's the pitching matchup. 9-game winner John Lester goes for the Cubs against lefty John Lamb. 1-4 will go for the Reds. Again, Reds Live at 6:30. First pitch at 7:10. Jake Arrieta entered the game as the leader in the ERA department this year at 1.74. Lester comes in with that 2.10 tomorrow. That is 5th best in the league. Reds trying to get John Lamb going in the right direction again. Tucker Barnhart will lead it off against Pedro Strop. He took over retired Suarez and Peraza in the bottom of the 7th, although both of them hit the ball very hard. His center fielder is Albert Almora. He's the young man we talked about earlier, recently called up from Iowa on the 7th. Former first-round pick by Chicago. Hayward moves over to right field. Bryant has moved now to left field. Madden playing little musical chairs out there. And Contreras now behind the plate. Miguel Montero out of the game.
All right, I asked you the trivia question. Chris Bryant tonight has 16 total bases with 3 home runs and 2 doubles against the Reds. The last time a player that the Reds played had 16 bases against the Reds, Riverfront Stadium. You want to venture a guess?
I'll say Mike Schmidt.
The answer would be hard-hitting Mark Whitten.
Okay.
On September the 7th, 1993, 4 home runs.
You know, I'm going to tell you something you may not believe. I was at that game. The ground out by Barnhart to start the inning. In fact, it was part of a doubleheader, was it not?
I think it was part of the doubleheader, yeah.
I was at that game. I should have remembered that. Hard-hitting Mark Whitten. You come up with that just now?
No, our esteemed stat man, Joel Luckham, did.
I meant the hard-hitting part.
No, are you kidding? Mark Whitten copyrighted that.
Tyler Holt will bat here for Ross Ollendorf in the bottom of the 8th. Reds down now by 3 at 10-7. Through all the power the Cubs have shown tonight, 5 home runs, 3 of them by Chris Bryant. Reds are still in this thing, down by just 3. A couple of base runners on. You bring the tying run to the plate.
We mentioned Arrieta coming over from the Baltimore Orioles. It was Pedro Strop that was the other player that came from the Orioles along with Arrieta in that deal. Steve Clevenger, Scott Feldman.
Feldman has done pretty well for himself. Texas now and a part of a good rotation down there.
Of course, you have Strop, who's one of the better setup men in the league, and Arrieta, the best pitcher in the league last year, and one of the best this year.
Tyler Holt trying to break an 0 for 16 drought as he stands in there, hitting .235 on the year with 7 runs batted in. Zobrist will throw him out here. Talking about that Mark Whitten 4 home run game, September the 7th, 93. Here's a look at it. Number 2. The 3rd one. And he caps it off with that one right there.
I think the last one was off of Rob Dibble, if I'm not mistaken. And he got the standing O from the home crowd Reds as they hosted the Cardinals.
That's because, as Pete Rose said many times over this past weekend, Cincinnati is the best baseball town in America, and they can appreciate a good job done by the opponent.
I would agree with him.
You, as a former player for Pete and a former Red, I would assume that you had a heck of a time this past weekend.
It was wonderful, really, really wonderful to see the joy, you know, for him and his entire family, and Reds fans who, despite his mistakes and mistakes over and over again, you know, they're going to forgive him. And the other good thing about it is that now that he's in the Reds Hall of Fame, he can come back every year.
Don't think he didn't mention that. Cross the diamond as Cozart is thrown out. Reds down an order in the 8th.
Griffey Jr. replica jersey, a 1976 World Championship replica flag, 2 future tickets to a Reds game, water bottle, the Marty Brennaman talking bobblehead, which we showed you earlier. And if you'd like to take it up to a $200 premium package, you'll also get a autographed baseball from either your choice of Cozart, Votto, Bruce, Hamilton, Mesoraco, or Homer Bailey. I'm Jim Day. We've got volunteers behind us, including members of the RBI softball program, manning the phones at 513-765-7700. We are on the home stretch. And Jimmy, Chris, there is something I want to say. And I've been there, folks. Not everyone has the means to donate $100 or $200. I get it. I have been there. But if you call up and donate $1, $5, $10, it all helps. And if you don't have the means at all, volunteering your time can be even more valuable than a money donation. Log on to reds.com/community. There are a lot of volunteer opportunities, particularly at the Reds Urban Youth Academy. You can give back to the youth that way, and at times that's even more valuable. But if you have the means, 513-765-7700. We're on the home stretch.
All right, thank you, Jim. We've heard George talking with the Barnes family earlier. He was talking with Jolinda Miller earlier about all the different things that are going on, about all the great programs that are happening at the various schools, at the Urban Youth Academy. Get out. They need your help there as well, either in cash donation or, as Jim just talked about, you're volunteering to go out and help. Blake Wood is the new Reds pitcher. Meanwhile, here in the top of the 9th inning, he hasn't pitched in 10 days. He's been away from the team, attending with his wife the birth of their child. Back in there tonight, appearance for him, number 34.
Now, you mentioned Albert Almora earlier. They have him listed as Albert Almora Jr., a young man who's only 22 years old. The Cubs picked him in the first round with the 6th pick in 2012 out of Mater Academy down in Hialeah, Florida. When you're a 6th pick in the country, you are very highly regarded as an amateur player. Hooks it into right field to pick up a leadoff base hit.
Almora, like Contreras earlier this year, was hitting very well at AAA, .318. He's on with a base hit here to start the 9th. Look at that, 16 now. 16 hits by the Cubs.
Well, the Reds have made the most of their hits. They've had 7 hits and 7 runs.
Addison Russell has not been a part of the hit parade tonight. He's 0 for 4. After that hit by Almora, his spot, the 7th spot, now the only position in the Cubs lineup that does not have a hit.
Almora barely gets back there. It looks like he got his gloves snagged in there with Joey Votto's. Either that, he was trying to get maybe a souvenir from the Reds first baseman.
Almora had 10 stolen bases at AAA this year. Still looking for his first in the big league.
Reds think that they may have picked him off, and Brian Price has checked in with Rob Coughlin, and they're going to put the headsets on the umpires. You know, kind of interesting with Addison Russell. We'll take another look at it as we do, but Addison Russell was drafted in the same draft as was the runner at first base, Almora. Russell was taken 5 places later in that draft, and he finds himself a regular in the big leagues here at age 21.
Russell taken at Oakland, he was so highly touted. Cubs really thought they got a deal on that trade when Russell came over here, and so much so that opened up a spot for him at shortstop. You thought that Votto, and maybe he did get his glove tangled up with Almora over there, or maybe part of that at least was Votto thinking that they actually had picked him off over at first base. We have found over the last couple of years that when Rob Coughlin takes a look at it, he says challenge. He's right an awful lot of the time.
Well, it's really interesting. If you look on a couple of the websites, it'll give you the information on the number of plays throughout Major League Baseball that are challenged and how many are overturned. It's just almost 50-50. So you can say from that respect that the replay system and the review system has been a resounding success, because if you got 50% of the plays that were called wrong and you're overturning them after you take a really hard look at them and getting them right, it's a success. What is he? Safe.
All in the field was safe. So that stands there. And Almora is still aboard at first base. Price this year is challenged 22 times. And exactly 50% have been overturned. So your number's right on. Right now, this is a save situation for Hector Rondon in the bottom of the ninth. Cubs closer. Score again, it would cease to be that. There's been rumblings that maybe the Cubs would be interested in acquiring someone else to help out in that bullpen. The name that we've heard some is the former Red, Aroldis Chapman,
or any of the other three relievers overall. We have 2 relievers there with the New York Yankees.
Betances or Miller. Lakewood trying to get the job done here in the 9th inning, trying to keep it a 3-run game. 3.57 his ERA at the start of the night. Oh, it got by Peraza. That may have been a double play ball. He was right near the bag. Had he come up with that thing, could have stepped on the bag and thrown on to first for the double play. Instead, it skips by him for an error.
Well, it's got a lot of overspin, and you know what they say, you have to anticipate a bad hop, and that's what it did. He didn't get in front of the ball. He was hoping that it was going to take a nice easy hop for him, and he would flip it right through the shortstop for a double play. But always good to have your body there as a backup. How'd they score that?
That is an E4. First error of the night for the Reds. Each team has committed an error tonight. First 2 Cubs have reached in the 9th inning. Here's Javier Baez. Took over at third base. Batting for the first time tonight. .256 with 6 home runs for Baez.
Baez, just like the 2 previous batters, very young himself. Almora was 22, Addison Russell 22, Baez 23 years old. And he is in his 3rd major league season. Not full season last year, but came up as a 21-year-old. So he's already playing in his 139th game as a major leaguer at age 23.
Thing that he has done that they really like is he has cut down on his strikeouts. That first year when he came up, you recall back in 2014, he was striking out almost every other time up there.
Well, he's cut it down by 50%. He was a 41% strikeout victim his first year, 30% last year, and now he's down to 22%. So he is trending in the right direction. More contact in the zone. less swinging at pitches that are outside the zone. And that's really the big thing. Remember when he first came up, he was pretty much hacking anything you threw up there.
Going to be a hit. Let's see if they send the runner, and they will. Throw to second. They got to get it out there. Billy Hamilton guns down the runner at second base. Baez. Almora scores. It's now 11-7 in favor of the Cubs. That's the first out of the inning out at second base. Credit Baez with a run batted in as Almora scores. Russell ends up at third base. Then the put out at second base, the first out of the inning.
They don't think there's a put out at second base. In fact, they're going to ask the umpires again to don those headsets and see if there was really a tag put on Baez. A little elusive slide down there. This is where Kozar ought to go over there and tag him just in case. I mean, why not keep the glove on him? I think they got him.
It looked like they got him on the jersey when he went by.
But even if there's a doubt at all and he slides 3 feet past the bag like he did, go over and tag him out. I mean, we never used to have slides like this in the major leagues. Before reviews, guys would slide in, and if the ball was there before the runner got there, you would ring up the runner. But now it's about a little bit of magic. Kind of now you see me, now you don't. You can kind of slide your hand in there.
You make a good point about keeping the tag on. In fact, we've seen a lot more of that this year. They just keep that tag on until the bitter end.
And it wasn't like Kozar fell down after the tag. I mean, he had plenty of time there. In fact, if he wanted to, he could have got right in front of the bag because he had the baseball and he could have blocked the bag. You can't block the bag without the ball, but he could have gotten right in front of him. But what this does is gives the Reds Community Fund a few extra minutes to field your phone calls to help out the fund. You get online, Reds.com/telethon, or you pick up the phone and you call this number 513-765-7700. Tell them Chris told you and you'd like to donate, and whatever amount you can afford is what the community fund would love to be able to have from you.
And that call stands out at second base. So Baez is indeed out on the 8-6 put out at second base. So the Reds challenged, call stood. Cubs challenge, call stands. 11-7 now Cubs. A runner at third base with one out. And Matt Caesar will bat for Pedro Strop. Here in the top of the ninth inning, Caesar hitting .294, 3 homers. He's driven in 15. Their busiest pinch hitter. He's 6 for 20 this year off the bench. Billy going to come on and make the grab and get rid of that ball in a hurry and get it back in. But a pretty darn good center field tonight, Billy Hamilton.
I'll tell you, he plays a good center field every night. What a jump on this ball. I mean, coming right at you. Sometimes it'll freeze you as an outfielder because you can't really judge. Last thing you want is that ball going over your head.
So 2 out. Top of the order now, and Ben Zobrist.
I'll tell you, the Cubs with 17 hits tonight, and the majority of those hits are well hit. I mean, line drives or big bombs like the ones that Bryant and Rizzo have hit. But there have also been a lot of line drive outs. The Cubs have made some hard outs tonight. They probably hit the ball hard 23 times tonight.
In case you're wondering, 17 hits is not the most hits the Reds have given up in a game this year. That's 19. 5 home runs, not the most. They gave up 7 earlier in the game this year. Down by 4 here in the top of the 9th.
I would have thought both of those were right there at the top.
And they're close.
Got any other good news?
Not at the moment, unless we get a new number from Jim Day. Let's go to Jim and see. In fact, Jim, what do you have over there at the call center?
We are at $75,000, and we hope counting. 513-765-7700. Let's see if the Reds got some runs in them in the bottom of the 9th. Stay with us. It's the Reds Community Fund Telethon.
Saturday, July the 16th. Thanks to PNC Bank, the first 25,000 fans will receive a Zach Cozart bobblehead. Make sure you catch all the action when the Reds take on the Brewers for only $12. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit Reds.com. Remember, stay with us after the game, following each and every Reds game here on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live post game brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. You get a complete recap of all the night's action, and tonight through the post game, the Reds Community Fund Telethon will continue, so it doesn't end when the game ends, all the way through the post game show. 513-765-7700. Operators are available, still taking calls, or you can get online, reds.com/telethon. See our folks all busy there in the call center. Joel Peralta, recently signed by Chicago, brought up to the big leagues today, is the man that comes into the game here for Chicago.
Been around a while compared to some of these young kids. He could be their dad. He's 40 years old.
pitched a little bit in Seattle earlier this year in 26 ball games. With the Dodgers last year, Tampa Bay for a few years before that, the Nationals, the Rockies, all the way back to 2005 when he broke in with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Last year that they were called that.
Hamilton, Votto, Bruce here in the bottom of the ninth. I told you early in the broadcast, the Cubs lost all 3 games against St. Louis to close out their recent homestand, then lost the first game of the 4 games they played down in Miami. So they've lost 4 in a row. They've lost 6 of their last 7. And to start this series with a win. This is a long road trip for them. The 3 here, then they go to New York and take on the Mets for 4. So you're talking about an 11-day, 11-game road trip for the Cubs.
Well, they look at this part of the road trip as a very important part because with the Reds down this year, the domination that the Cubs have had over the Reds so far this year, the Reds have only had 1 win against them. Before they go to New York and face that pitching staff at Citi Field, they want to rack up a couple of wins.
Team, of course, that beat them in the National League Championship Series last year, the Mets. Tonight been busy on the bases, walked twice, scored twice, stole 2 bases, has a hit, and had a sacrifice bunt. This time they get him on strike.
You know what I would like to do right now? I know that in our viewing and listening audience that there are some Cubs fans. And why not? Let me make a call to all you Cubs fans. You're looking good right now. You're up by 4. You're going to win probably this ball game, but there's the rest of the set coming. Why don't you pick up the phones? Get those iPhones out of your pockets right now and call that number on the screen, 513-765-7700. You're not just helping the Reds Community Fund. You're helping the whole Cincinnati area, Reds country.
There you
make
go.
The whole place better. We hope that young gentleman right there is making a call and donating a little bit of money. I mean, drink 1 fewer beer tonight, 1 less beer.
That's the Chris Welsh call to action right there. Votto with a bid for another home run, long and deep into left center. And another round tripper for Joey Votto. 2-homer night for Votto. His 13th of the season. And it's a 3-run game. That's our Volkswagen drive of the game by Joey Votto. Multi-home run game of the career of Joey Votto. He had a couple of them last year. 1 against the Cardinals, 1 against the Padres. He gets 1 here tonight against the Cubs. Joey had gone a long spell, almost 3 weeks without a home run. He gets 2 of them here tonight. Makes it an 11-8 game. He pulled both those things. Bruce has driven in a run tonight. That was back in the third. Into the shift is that ball hit by Bruce, and he is thrown out at first base. Zobrist makes the play, 2 out. And it's Adam Duvall. Cubs lost the first. Actually, I should say the Reds lost the first 5 games they played against the Cubs this year, then won. Lost the last one 9-0, and now a pitching change by Chicago.
This bobblehead once again as part of the MVP gift package. It's a Marty Brennaman talking bobblehead. You press a button and the famous call of 4192 comes up with Marty and Joe. Check it out.
He levels it out a couple of times. Shao kicks and he fires. Rose swings.
The call never gets old, and it can be at your fingertips with this Marty Brennaman bobblehead. Part of that MVP gift package, you also get a Griffey replica jersey, a 1976 replica World Championship flag, a couple of tickets to Reds games, and a water bottle and more. $100 donation, 513-765-7700, the ultimate home stretch.
Thank you, Jim. And again, remember, the call center will be open through the post-game show here tonight. Oh, we heard that call a lot this weekend with Pete Rose being inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame and having his number retired. And as Jim said, it's true. It never gets old. Part of the charm of the call, in fact, is Nuxie talking right over Marty when the ball is hit. Get down, get down.
Classic.
Duvall in the air against the new pitcher, Hector Rondon. And that'll do it. First game of this series goes to the Cubs. They win for the 49th time, and a lot of the credit goes to that man, Chris Bryant. 5 for 5, 3 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Rizzo also had a home run in the game. The Cubs take game 1 by a final score of 11-8 here at Great American Ballpark on this Reds Community Fund Telethon night here in Cincinnati. Stay with us now. We'll come back with more from the ballpark. Post-game show coming up next.